There you have it, your APTA National Champions.
Best match of the year.
Brilliant shot.
Incredible stuff. And it's sitting up and he's right there.
Hello and welcome to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Glenview Club in Gulf, Illinois, bringing you the 2023 APTA Chicago Nationals, which is the 13th and last stop on the 2022-23 APTA Tour, presented by Remedy Plus and sponsored by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Paddle Pro Infusion, and local sponsors, Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, Wintrust, and Viking. I am Patty Hogan, along with the one and only Brad Easterbrook, bringing you an incredible matchup here in our semifinals of the men's nationals between our defending national champs, Mickey Ardoya and Sven Burris, up against former national champs, John Hughes and Mark Powers. Welcome, Brad.
Oh, Patty, it's great to be here. It's an amazing morning here at the Glenview Club. And, look forward to a great match. We'll do a quick rundown of the players on the court. On the top of your screen, top left, in the white hoodie is John Hughes, the left-handed player, and his partner to his right, top right of your screen, Mark Powers in the cap and the blue jacket. And on the bottom right of your screen, Mick Ardoya, another left-handed demon, and his partner to his left is Sven Burris. Take a quick look at the draw, see how the players got here. Burris Ardoya didn't come in here with any kind of fanfare, and yet the last two rounds they've won 6-1, 6-3, and 6-2, 6-2 over very good teams. So looking really sharp right in here. Good road for Hughes Powers as well. They got down 5-2 against McNerney and Nolan yesterday, but then they came right back and pretty much handled it 7-5, 6-2. So this is a great matchup. And these guys just played a couple of weeks ago, right, in the Pro Flight event down in New Jersey?
Yep, I believe so, Brad.
Yeah, and I think Hughes and Powers took that one. But it's a great matchup here of different styles and different play. We got Ron Borgatti in the chair. And to me, it's a pick-em type of match, but I think that Burris or Ardoya have certain skill sets that work really well. Like Mark Powers has a huge return, but Sven Burris has a huge serve into that ad court. And it sort of blunts a little bit of that, so this should be a great match.
Brad, do you think it's an advantage having a lefty as your partner?
I love playing with lefties. I've had the good fortune of doing that many times. And it gives the ability to sort of attack all screens with a little more, the lefty can really attack the deuce side, the righty can attack the ad side more, so it's terrific. The only area you worry about a little bit is some volleys in the middle. Got to get a little close to each other, but it's a great thing to have a lefty. Some interesting notes, Patty, about our semifinals today. Crazy, right? 3 years in a row now we've had these four teams in the semifinals. Burris Ardoya and Powers Hughes, Morgan and Frazier and Durant and Mitchell, 3 years in a row. And this is the exact same lineup as it was Hughes Powers versus Burris Ardoya than it was 2 years ago in Jersey when Burris Ardoya went to their first final, and this was in the heavy rain. Here we got a little precipitation. So it's pretty interesting out here on the men's side. Clearly these teams have really separated themselves.
Right, and lots of questions with the lack of tournament play with Burris Ardoya, but they started the season at Montclair. Mick ran that event, and they picked up right off where they left off from the Nationals. And I have a lot of confidence in them in this situation here. They are our defending national champions, And you know, they beat these guys in the finals, and all of these teams here zero in, and they shoot for nationals. They know they have no shot to win it unless they get a berth in the semis, obviously. And then they've got to play through. They know this is, you know, a brutal challenge. But I feel like Burris and Ardoya, when they are dialed in, obviously, they're number one last year. So I don't know. I mean, I love Hughes and Powers. All these guys are great. It's a total toss-up here, Brad.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. You know, the things you got to watch out for, Hughes Powers have the ability to attack with two different overheads. So do Burris Ardoya to a degree. You know, Burris has a great backhand that he'll drive a variety of places. Forehand he'll mostly take and uses either an off-pace drive or he waits for the screen drive, the ball that gets high up over there. Last year when they won their finals, it was warm out. Here it's more like 32-33. You'll have ability to keep the ball on the screen or from coming off the screen a little bit better. It's going to be interesting to see how the players use their tactics out here. And for, you know, Powers Hughes last year, it was a great matchup. It was a 3-setter in the finals, and it just seemed like it took Powers Hughes a little while to get going. But Burris Ardoya were so good at, once they take the net, they were just rock solid, up there volleying every single ball back. It was hard to win points against them.
Yeah, and Hughes and Powers had that grueling win, as you pointed out, you know, in the semis against Durant Mitchell last year. And I just felt like, you know, you get into your 6th hour of playing paddle in the semis and finals and of the Nationals, and it is a daunting task. And physically, if you're just not quite feeling it, there's no way you're going to come out of it as the victor. And, you know, I think as we see Hughes and Powers, when they play, they leave nothing. They put it all on the line. We saw them go down a little bit yesterday. John Hughes hits the court several times in every match, Brad.
It's a pretty frequent occurrence. You're right about that. And you make a great point about the physical nature. The other part of it's just the mental nature, you know, of getting through that semifinal and then coming right back an hour later and having to amp yourself right back up again. There's been some talk about making it an individual event, each of the finals. We'll see how the future goes. Now, weather-wise, it's been cloudy and squalls the whole day out here. It's going to be gray with a little bit of precipitation, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything that affects play. All right, so last-minute conversation here for Hughes and Powers. And then I think we're getting ready. And Burris Ardoya are like, okay, let's go. They're just hanging back there at the top of your screen. Yeah, all this discussion, and they just realized they don't actually have a game ball. So here we go, and it looks like Ardoya is going to start us out. He's got a big serve with that lefty into the ad court. It's going to be tough for Hughes to get a lot of looks at that. But into the deuce court. On the ad court, Powers should get a good look at some of the drives. So we'll see. Good nick right away. That's a great bail there. Perfectly done from Ardoya and Burris. They get into trouble. He hits a lob volley and goes back. Smart play. That's a great track from Ardoya there. He sees Powers go for that cutter. Way to get up there early.
Brad, every one of these guys can end points on their overheads, right? And I mean, that's, I'll see how much of a factor it is with the wet conditions and, you know, depending on the lobbing. I would expect if 4 lobs, we're going to see a lot of those spin cutters.
Players are feeling it out right now. Bershordoya, when they are locked in, they are so tough to just win point. They're long, they volley great. They're like brick walls up there, and if you hit it through, they just track it down half the time. That's a tough one, but that's one way to get a point. Great shot from Hughes there.
Yeah, not the best shot, kind of switching it. You know, Mick paid the price for just throwing a ball over. Just didn't have any pace or spin on it, and Hughes just got the better of it.
A couple of let cords early for Hughes Powers. Gets another one there. Bursch had an easy path to put it back, but he tried to do a little more with it. Ball was too close to the net. Pops it in there.
Brad, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you could have one overhead from one of these guys, just one, who's overhead, and what would the overhead be?
It would be Hughes then, and when he really dials in his cutter and certain weathers, he can really make that ball jump, actually probably more than the rest of these guys once it gets going. And the lefty nature of it that allows you to attack the deuce side, I'd take that. Now, Ardoya can hit a cut finish. All of them can to a degree. Powers certainly can. He can do it with the forehand and the backhand, but if you give me one of the choices, when Hughes dials in that heavy cutter, did a lot of damage last year in the finals. We'll see if he can pull it out today. You know, they've been doing a lot more, Hughes and Powers, this weekend, of having Powers take the overheads and Hughes much less of the role. And there's another just a great overhead there from him. Just, you know, jumping himself into the conversation. Maybe I'll take that overhead. But there's a lot of good offensive firepower here.
Right, and your point earlier is when you have a lefty, you can attack whatever side of the court you want, and these guys just have every kind of overhead. They all make the grip changes. And it just makes it so tough once they get the net. These guys don't miss first volleys, and you have the net, and I think in these playing conditions, you want to keep the net, and they're going to be slicing and dicing as much as they can. Rollers keeping that ball down.
And there's tough, good dig there. Nice. A couple of great digs from Ardoya. And he'll go all the way over. Oh, good play. Powers, I think he could have easily had it, but I thought he thought he had it. He needed to go back another step. I'm surprised to see him miss that one, but great shot from Ardoya. And that transitional forehand from Ardoya when it goes off the back screen is just, you know, it's one of the best shots in the game. He just is pretty much lights out with it. It's as automatic a shot as there has been in there. And when they had their little bit of struggles, call them struggles, I guess, for a team that's seated second here in the middle of the year, and they didn't win, say, at, you know, short hills and whatnot. There were a couple of misses there from the Ardoya forehand that we just don't normally see. Good to see him hit an early one there.
Let's go. Here.
Oh, transitional ball. We'll see that play time and time again. Ardoya is likely to go serve and volley against Hughes. Against Powers, she'll probably serve, stay back, and look for the transition volley. And that's for two reasons. One, it's just simply that it's a much better serve for him on the deuce side than on the ad side. And it's just a strategy they use all the time.
Head out.
All right, a little back and forth game here. Hughes Powers choosing the right shots to drive, getting them off the net with the lobs, and a couple of overheads that have been slightly careless maybe for Bershordoya.
Loose overheads, because they're
Yeah,
loose,
a little
Brad.
loose, right. Yeah, careless is the wrong word.
I mean, it's a great word, Brad.
It's a great word.
You ready? You. Nobody.
See, that's the overhead there. That, you know, that was the play or the knock on John Hughes back in the day. You could just push it to his forehand. Not so much anymore. you know, you push it there, and he starts to make you pay. He hits over the ball now, and he's dipping it at people's feet, and then he comes in with the blitz behind it. He doesn't generally beat you just with flat-out pace, but he's definitely making you pay on the average ball in the middle of the court, much more so than, you know, because Hughes and Powers, this is their, well, a bunch of semis. They've been to 3 national finals, though, winning 1. And one of the ones they lost, that's what the knock was. They would just push the ball to the Hughes forehand, and he's worked on it. And that's no longer the case. Good positioning there for Shondoya. Oh, right there. Urdoya was getting in for the volley, but it was a good look for Hughes. Just missed it.
Well, and that's where you see, Brad, you teach it all the time in your volleys. When you see that drive coming, you got to close in on the net and get yourself in the best position possible to make that volley. You know, a lot of people kind of get paralyzed for one moment in their decision making, and Mick was fully committed to just going forward.
Tough way to lose that game. Couple of faults to finish it out, but a good start for Hughes Powers.
So, Brad, can you explain when Hughes Powers won Nationals 2018? They beat Drew Broderick and Jared Palmer in the finals, stopping the 3-year run from Broderick Palmer. That their overhead schemes were different, you're saying, and you're saying now, like, a little bit more is on Powers on the overheads?
I mean, this weekend it has been. Back then, one of the engines that definitely drove them to that national championships in 2018 was Hughes moving back, and, you know, he said it's an extreme grip. It's basically an Eastern backhand, and hitting heavy cutters into the back wire that were spinning all the way out to the side wire, doing tremendous damage. And you know, he was doing that, and he's even added cut finishers to that. So they have the option, Hughes and Powers. One of the things that makes them so dangerous as a team to play multiple styles. They can have either one of the guys take the overheads and do the work. Back then, this weekend has been a little more of Powers overheads being featured, we'll say, I guess.
Well, I'd just be curious as this match goes on if, you know, Hughes hits more, because when Mark Powers is on top of the net with his hands on the volley, it just can shut down that Urdoya drive, in this case, out of that deuce court.
I think you make a perfect point. You make a great point. What the styles do differently. When you got Hughes hitting the attacking overheads, that puts Powers closer to the net, and he's a great shutdown volleyer. Hughes is a great volleyer. He volleys really well, and he tags Burrish there. It's probably a mistake for, you know, well, it's probably a mistake for Urdoya to drive that ball after that other shot, just because he's not going to get it down at their feet. He's got to lob and let Burrish have time to get back. But the other direction, Hughes is a good volleyer. He's just not as much of a shutdown volleyer, meaning when people hit an offensive shot, he doesn't come up and hit an offensive one right back necessarily.
Like what Urdoya will do.
Whereas,
a lot.
Whereas, you know, Hughes is a great blitz volleyer, coming forward, other things in a great position volleyer. So it just gives them different looks. But you make a great point. If they feel like they're going to need that, it's certainly a style they can go to.
John Hughes, former #1 singles player for Quinnipiac College, and Mark Powers played #1 for Yale for 4 years.
Wow. Yeah, Powers was like kind of in that junior national tennis class, like, you know, with Steve Johnson, some former pros actually.
He won with Eric Delia.
Oh yeah, junior nationals. He did.
Junior nationals.
Junior paddle nationals.
And Eric Delia is back on the scene, has had some challenges, but I love reading the article on the APTA website about how he's back in tournament play. I remember him as a super nice young guy, and so happy for him.
Yeah, it's a great family. And it's a great story, you're right. Oh, right there, just that's that volley.
But that's the style of Urdoya. He's going to be all over that net. You know, it's a little risk reward, because as he closes in, it also gives you a little less time.
They got to fire it up a notch here. You know, where Hughes and Powers are getting a lot of strikes, you know, 5, 6, 7 drives. They have to really focus on their overheads.
quick shout out, Brad, to one of the newer APTA leagues, the Northeast Platform Tennis League, up in the Adirondack region, run by Steve Prout.
That's a great shout out, and that was a great volley from John Hughes. And that indeed was a shutdown volley. Closes up. Urdoya takes the forehand drive, and Burge blitzes, and boom, slams it right down, hits him off the left hip. It's a good start here for Hughes Powers.
You know, it's interesting. This is the 13th and last stop on the APTA Tour. Both of these teams only played 4 tournaments this year. They definitely spread out their schedule. John Hughes is busy. He's got twins.
Yeah, good father.
Makes it a little tougher to travel on weekends.
Oh, I think that went out. Bad luck there, but he hits it so heavy with so much spins, hits the top of the net and goes long.
Mick's got 2 beautiful kids, so it's hard when these guys are on the courts all week as teaching pros, or even if they're not teaching pros. You know, they're giving up a lot of time on the weekend, but how lucky are we, Brad, that we get to watch the game's best. And we thank their clubs for their support of all these top players in our wonderful sport.
Absolutely, yeah. It's, you bring up a good point here. 2 of these guys are teaching pros, and that's Burge and Urdoya. Burge at the Montclair Golf Club, and I'm sorry, Burge at the Essex Fells Country Club, and Urdoya at the Montclair Golf Club. See, there's the cutter that I'm talking about from John Hughes. It's a vintage play there. He lets it drop, cuts it right down near the snowboard. Just Burge can't come up with it. Hughes and Powers are not teaching pros. Yeah, they both work in the business world.
Hughes and Powers played the Western New Englands, where they lost in the finals to Durant Mitchell. They won the Dwayne Hayden event, beat Dennis and Friedrich. In Boston, they lost in the finals there to Durant and Mitchell. In Short Hills, they lost their semi to Durant and Mitchell.
Yeah, basically, when they've run into Durant and Mitchell this year, that's been their kryptonite, as it's been to many teams.
Yes, Fenn and Mick won the Montclair event, beating Durant Mitchell in the finals 4-2. They lost to McNerney and Nolan in the quarters at Boston. Short Hills, they made it to the semis, but they were knocked out by host pro Chris Humphreys and his buddy Felipe Osis Conning in that match. And Philly Burge Urdoya got to the finals, but Juan Araya and Eric West pulled off a great win there. How exciting, Brad. Just with these new guys in the draw, and you see a guy like Eric West comes onto the plate, has the benefit of playing with a veteran like Juan Araya, just vaulted his game, and just what he learned in that situation. And it's what, Dennis, Friedrich, all these guys. It's just so fun to see the new names in our sport.
Yeah, Eric West out of the Cincinnati region area. He's very talented. I saw him for the first time last year in the President's Cup event, which was held at my club on Long Island, Garden City Country Club. So shout out to everyone there. And I wasn't really paying attention to the action that was going on. There was a lot of action. And I found myself sometimes just, what was that noise and that sound? Something was catching my eye. And just because of quality of shots, the shots I heard, movements, certain plays, and as I looked over, it happened to be Eric West. He was just, I wasn't looking for him, but I caught it. He caught my eye. Clearly an up-and-coming talent in the game.
What a return serve from Powers, that quick release. He just sets that paddle up high and boom. That ball, I remember when Durant came in the game and he would hit a forehand, Brad, and it just seemed like he would start his swing and the ball was already on the other side. And that's kind of Mark Powers like as well.
Absolutely. I think Powers spots his forehand better than probably almost anyone. And he's got that quick release, the ability to go with spin, heavy, hard, flat, from just a quick, immediate set of the wrists. It's not even really a backswing. It's just a set up front. He just accelerates the paddle. It's a great shot.
Yeah, he learned that and honed his skills with Dan Englander, I think.
Englander's clearly his mentor.
Brad, you've been lucky enough to be in position to hit with all these guys. You know them all really well. And
That's a great volley.
I mean, I just look at this match and it's like there's no weakness in any player.
Now this is going to come down to execution and some strategy. Yeah, there isn't a specific place you can just say, well, I'm going to get a point here or there. Not at all. And really, at anyone at this level, there really shouldn't be. But there are certain things you shouldn't do. And that's actually one of them. And it's shocking to see Urdoya actually miss that forehand. You know, that's what I was saying. That's been sort of like, they just haven't quite fired on all cylinders. To me, he doesn't miss that forehand, Urdoya. You know, I don't see it very often. If he does, I don't see them winning this match.
Yeah, his forehand has to be a given for them to win.
And it generally has been throughout his entire career. Ooh, that's a good look for Powers. He likes that shot. He knows he let it get too high. He should have gotten down a little bit. That's what he was saying to himself there, but jeez.
And what a matchup. The greatest serve from Burrs and Powers just tees off on it.
Yeah, it's astounding, actually. I think I would have just blocked it and been happy to get it over. And he's just taking a full cut at it. He didn't hit that one clean, but he will. That's right at the crease. Great shot. Good cover from Hughes.
And I kind of like that Powers took that shot at Urdoya, just kind of keep him in position, just make him aware that he's going to hit up the line. I think that's a good thing to maybe negate some of Urdoya's amazing forehand volleys that he loves to, you know, use in the middle of play, covering the middle
again.
of the court for the
Great
team.
shot, good cover from Hughes. And you know, there we go. I was about to talk about the Urdoya the Bursch waterfall is one of the best in the game. But Powers Hughes pretty much are lobbing him back to the service line every time right now. Decent lobbing. That's the first short one there where he's got a little opportunity to do more. Now he's back behind the service line. They do that, they're going to get looks all day long. It's such a paddle 101 thing to say. You know, lob better, get the opponent out of the service box, take your drives when they're off it. That's a good hold. They needed that. They're in the match now.
Hughes Powers lead the first set.
And that was a good game from Hughes Powers. They just didn't execute on a few balls. A couple of drive errors there, but it's good points.
Quick look over to the other court, Brad, where we have number 1 seeds, Johan Durant, Stephen Mitchell. Down 2-3 to Adam Morgan and Tyler Frazier. Number 1 against number 5 in that match.
Snowboards it, just a great shot. And it's a bad lob from Urdoya, which gives Power the ability to kind of like hold him and threaten him with the short cutter. So Urdoya steps up and Powers just hits the perfect one and snowboards it. That was a great overhead. But again, it starts with the bad lob, right? If you can lob the guy to the service line, they can never hurt you. I don't think anyone's ever put away an overhead shot from the service line. I mean, you could try an underhand cutter, but it's a very high risk.
You know, and as this game is such a power game, you know, with Hughes and Powers here off to a really solid start in the semifinals, it's because of their lobbing. And that sets it up and lets them dictate the pace of play.
Yeah, right now, these guys are playing just sort of good quintessential paddle, and Powers Hughes, both these teams actually do that really well. Oh, that's just, you know, Powers leads the league in those kind of like stab volley flippers, and he makes them all the time. All the time.
I think it's because he really was one of the Incredibles in his past life, and he just
He's
seems to
Elastic
have.
Man.
Yeah, he can just extend that wrist. It seems like it just goes out at the last second, and he makes unbelievable pickups on his volleys.
He was going to work with some cutters, but good job from Erdoya Burrs to get out of it. Oh, what gets from Erdoya, just sticking in there, and he comes in with the big forehand. This is a great point. Yeah, Bursch, I'm not sure why he stepped up there. He actually stepped up and in like he was going to do something offensive, and then Powers just sticks it right into his feet, and he ends up hitting a short ball, and then Powers finishes it. That's a good soft overhead from Hughes. Perfect.
Yeah, and they're going after Erdoya here, more on the baseline, Brad, it seems. And then just isolate Burrs totally. Flat-footed little slappy forehand there.
Yeah, that was kind of a little, excuse me, forehand. He did have Hughes off the net, but he wasn't really set to do it. But Bursch will do that from time to time. Hit the little half-pace forehand, and he'll get some. But that one was not enough airtime there, right in the middle of the net. So it's 3-1 now for Hughes and Powers. Yeah, one of the moves that Powers has sort of taken a little bit more out of his game that he used to do, and I agree with him. I was talking to him about it, is he used to try to sneak up the side right at one time a backhand on a down-up overhead, but he was getting almost baited into it a little bit. He could make them, and his timing is extremely good, but he was missing too many for how many he was getting. We talk about that risk-reward type of scenario that players have now. I'm going to take a risk to get winners, right? And I know I'm going to miss a few, but he was missing too many, so he pretty much took it out of the game. Now you can see he's waiting for the screen drive, and he'll take it with the backhand when he has it, but he's not forcing it. Yeah, just right now out of Bursch or Erdoya, it's just a few, like one too many little loose errors, right? Missed overhead in there, that missed forehand in the net. They're just going to have to clean it up.
Yeah, they feel a little flat.
Maybe. Yeah.
And Hughes and Powers do not feel flat. In particular, I feel like Mark Powers is feeling it here.
Oh, he went for the winner there. He's a little too far off the net. You know, which kind of brings up a good point. I know for those who did watch the the quarterfinal yesterday against Nolan and McNerney, Powers in that second set started becoming very active, closing in on the volley and hitting offensive stick volleys. You know, at Nolan and McNerney, it made a huge difference. All right, here's a time for Bursch or Erdoya to capitalize on a couple of those loose errors from Hughes Powers.
Last time Sven was in the I formation, Powers went right at him and he let the ball go through. And maybe that was why he let the ball go through, because that is a tough, dipping, heavy ball to volley.
Good shot there from Powers. He gets Bursch to reach just a little, kind of pushes out with his paddle, can't soften it up. That's a great move, and it's got to be a call there from Erdoya, but awesome get from Bursch.
There we go.
Oh, what a move. And he's brazen to come in there. I think Powers was shocked to see him. Great shot from Erdoya. Because that was an easy transition drive from Powers. And anyway.
Be curious if that's the moment that Erdoya gets fired up here.
Yeah. I mean, right now they're just keeping it close. And it's a big game. They don't want to get the separation from Hughes and Powers. If they keep three, You're still down a break, but it's no big deal breaking the paddle. And there's a few errors out of Hughes. And right away, it's right back in it.
Powers lead the first set. 3 games.
All right, it's time to talk about one of our great sponsors, Paddle Pro. And for over 20 years, Paddle Pro has been recognized as an industry leader in platform tech. The knowledge, expert advice, vast inventory, and ultimate customer service. Any player find the perfect equipment to take your game to the next level. Paddle Pro is the only site to carry all platform tennis brands. For more information, go to www.paddlepro.com.
We're back from the Glenview Club in Gulf, Illinois. Semifinal action. Men's Nationals. I'm Patty Hogan along with Brad Easterbrook. And Hughes Powers got off to a pretty solid start, but all of a sudden you feel like Burrs and Erdoya are back. And Hughes Powers are up 3-2, as you can see, in the first set.
Yeah, there was a moment there where you thought like Hughes and Powers were going to get that separation. A couple loose errors out of Burrs and Erdoya. They don't execute basically. And it's 3-2 now. Still up a break, but anybody's game.
It's interesting, Brad, how few overheads Burris goes after. You know, he's got that wicked slice shot, but for his team, you know, he'll take it and he'll take so much off a lot of his overheads, more so than other top guys that I see.
Hey, he's pushing him in there. He's not hitting any cut overheads at this time at all, but he is going hard into the Powers screen, and it hasn't worked for him yet. You know, Powers is sticking those backhands and putting pressure on him, and then you see Hughes blitzing, and it's been a very effective combination for him. So he's going to have to pay attention to that.
Great adjustment.
That's going right into the crease. Those are tough overheads. Great dig from Erdoya. That's a perfect spot. He can't find it. And you see Erdoya slides over. And now he catches them in a shift. So when you shift the play over there and you don't get that overhead to the screen or give yourself time to get in position, it just becomes a tough volley.
Yeah, he just didn't hit it deep enough or hard enough.
Yeah.
And Erdoya just made the move. Good footwork. The forehand is igniting
I mean,
from Erdoya.
it's one of the best forehands in the game.
Ever.
Yeah, sure. And that right there is how Burris will use his forehand. Just as like, I'm going to keep you honest, see if I can get a better shot. The backhand, he'll really tee up.
Yeah, and you can see he's foregoing a lot of opportunities on his forehand to ultimately set up the two-handed backhand, because his two-handed backhand and Erdoya's forehand is what won them the Nationals last year. And they'll be kind of
Well,
just
his
looking
screen
for those
drive,
shots.
his screen drive with the forehand, he'll hit all the time. If you overhit it, that's a mistake. That's a great drive from Erdoya there, 15-30. There's the move that you'll see from Burris. He'll slide to his right and look for his backhand. That's good volley, but look at those guys shifting their positions in the backcourt. Oh, he pokes at that lob just a little bit. A lot of pressure from Hughes, though. He's constantly making you spin and work over there. He's been working over Erdoya pretty good. Erdoya's been mostly up to the task.
Update on the other semifinals. Fraser Morgan up 5-3.
You had mentioned
Durant
Mitchell.
and Mitchell. Did I hear that right?
I think so. And you had mentioned before you thought you saw Stephen Mitchell in there getting like a groin stretch out.
Yeah.
You might have been a little concerned about something that might be an injury going on. Those guys would never say it. You know, they're from the tough South African breed, and they would never use injury as an excuse.
Never.
But you were surmising that he might be having a little issue.
I got some intel, and they had a couple 3-setters yesterday. And, you know, I heard Steven's definitely hurting a bit. And you're right, they are such class acts, we're never going to hear that from them.
No, you would never hear that from them. They are not that way.
Brad, what way are you when you get hurt? Not that way?
I cry a lot, and I go, help me, please.
Oh.
Patty, could you get me a blanket, Patty?
Yes, I will, Brad. I'll get you an electric blanket.
I'd say I was hurt now, but it's good to know that
Oh,
you
you
got
haven't
me.
been hurt this weekend?
Just emotionally. No, I'm not big about talking about the injuries, too. I'm a little old school in that regard. It's good or bad necessarily.
Yeah, and Brad, how many times, you know, when you competed at the highest level, did you feel good going into nationals? Not many. Like it's a grinding sport, and when you play a full schedule, you know, you get to nationals and you're hanging on. You just hope, okay, I'm not going to tear my meniscus anymore today. I mean, you're really trying to not get hurt more at this point.
Is that your definition of positive talk? I'm not going to tear my meniscus
Anymore.
anymore today.
I
That's
try to
perfect.
limit the tears.
There you go. That's it. Hughes looking for that chip and move. Nice. He's quick. He loves the blitz. The more athletic he plays, the more fun he has, and the more dangerous he becomes. But he's done a good job of developing himself into a dangerous player, or being able to create that speed for himself. When people were slowing it down to him in the past, that's where he would get in trouble. That's a big forehand.
How disciplined is the play of Burris out here? Like, talk about being a role player and playing with someone as explosive as Erdoya. I mean, Sven is lights out. He could hit any shot he wants, and, you know, he's just kind of filling the role here. Perfect teammate for Mick Erdoya.
Oh, these guys are a great team. You know, national finals winners last year, and it's been just a great run for them from the moment they started playing together. It's like you said, you had a good team there. The pieces fit really well together. There's the first cutter we've seen really out of Burris. Good time for it.
Brad, you can just see the movement and how chill Burrs and Erdoya are at the net, because they're not surprising each other. They know exactly, they have their game plan, they have their tactics. They know, if I get this lob, I'm hitting it here. They can't go rogue on each other, because that's maybe when a missed volley comes into it. But right here, they're being super disciplined.
Wow.
Maybe too disciplined. Maybe they had to, like, crush one.
It certainly wasn't any overheads that were applying any pressure, so that allows Hughes and Powers to sort of pick their moments, which they did right there. But it's not a bad tactic overall, because Burris Erdoya sort of can play that game where you feel like it's tough to win a point, and then they come up and make the volley. They just made a couple of mistakes on some overheads, really. You know, that was a hanger for Powers, but Powers just hung around, and then he waited for that one ball, and they picked away and found their spot.
15 love.
Oh, that's just a great shot. Well,
Just the perfect dipping ball between a lefty and a righty.
yeah, I mean, these are not easy volleys. They're going to have to find a way. I mean, right now, in terms of offensive opportunities taken, and forced errors, they're definitely leading. You know, Hughes and Powers. Hughes is looking for that blitz move. Powers is waiting for the right opportunity and taking that huge forehand of his. And then you get the follow-up of, an athlete like Hughes coming at you. It's not so simple. And they're sort of hanging back using these push overheads. So there is a little space. They're not moving in and hitting shutdown volleys. There it is again. That time a great volley, but this is the play that's sort of setting everything up for him.
And again, Powers right through the middle of the court. Just a little bit of a gap in between Ardoya and Burrs there.
That's a great volley. Soft hands there from Bursch.
And he slid over, sealed off that middle.
Well, Hughes and Powers is doing a great job lobbing him to the service line, then pushing him back in with a little three-quarter drive, and then when they have the thumper, Powers takes the thumper. There's a good waterfall attack to the side. Nice.
See, I love that Burrs overhead.
Yeah, those are good shots. They're working. These are some pressure overheads, and they finally draw the air. I think he was trying to get in position to hit a forehand drive there. He just got burned.
Yeah, I'd like to see Burrs slash more to kind of set up the finishing overhead for Ardoya a little bit. Versus hitting as many push overheads.
Well, we talked about that these teams have the option to change their style. So maybe if you submit a request in writing, give it to the umpire, you can pass it on. But yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's too good there. Burrs just slap shots that volley right at him, because you make the blitz move and you hang a volley like that, you're going to get hit. Oh, what a return there. Great shot. That's a good lob. Again, they're outside the service box a lot. There's decent lobbing from Hughes and Powers. It's really starting to... It's one of these things that you don't pay that much attention to, that every player should. Ardoya have their style of, they both kind of hang off the net. It's a little more of an old school style. A lot of teams these days get one guy close, the other guy back, another great hold.
Burrush, Ardoya, Hughes, Powers, lead the first set, 4-3.
And Brett, are they playing a little bit off the net as a result of the lobbing and the depth of the lobs from Powers and Hughes, or not necessarily?
That's just their style. You know, their style is to be a little more off the net. You'll see guys like, Durant Mitchell. Durant is just waiting for you to hit a three-quarter pace drive, and then he moves in, cuts it off, and hits a drop volley for a winner. You don't really see that out of Bursch or Ardoya. They more hang off, and then they can move back and transition, and it allows you to hit sort of like pick-away drives at them, but they're also good at transitioning back, and they are willing to let you, like they won that game, but Hughes Powers took a lot of good cuts, and ultimately Hughes just missed a forehand there. Was that a tough shot? He just missed a couple of forehands, and that's what they're getting from their opponents. They make so many balls, they transition back, another set of balls. They don't look for the cutoff drop volley or the close-in attack that much. Ooh. Oh, I think it was wide. Yep. John's sorry. He's the nicest guy in the world.
I'm sorry, Mick, that
Right.
you missed.
I'm sorry you didn't hit that ball in. Right. And I think he's talking about the lead court, and he's actually sincere. He's a great guy.
For sure.
You know, their style is more like, I'm going to keep doing this, and you got to, you know, make 50 shots kind of thing.
15-30.
Whereas other teams would be looking to close in, hit the drop volley, or go into a floating eye. They don't really do that. They both play side by side and just plug away, get in position, and go ahead, hit 40 good drives. That's a bad overhead from Powers, but
He got away with it.
He got away with it.
The ball of life.
yeah, he wanted to spin that ball into the side screen, and instead it hung up. I feel like that's been this first set. The teams are doing a lot of right things. They're just not always executing the shots they want. Great serve there from Hughes.
40-30.
That was big. Just like holding on to their lead here, see if they can get this hold.
Another great serve.
That's
Right on the line.
Big move there. Hung that first volley up, and a great blitz from Erdoya.
Right, but an amazing serve. Serves it deep, and Burge just crushes, and that's, the play, that blitzing off of those return serves. They have so much confidence in each other's drives.
Yeah, the ad player here definitely has, against the lefty serve, the better look at it. That deuce side is tough. They spin that serve right into the side wire, and you have to make a heavy commitment to try to cut it off, so most guys don't even bother. Oh, it's their moment now for Burge Erdoya to get this thing even.
Is that a loose overhead, Brad?
It's just an error, I guess. Yeah. Certainly not the shot that forced that.
Kind of a shocking miss from Mark Powers right there.
And that's a great volley from John Hughes, but I'm not sure if Burge is going to come that far over. If you're Erdoya, wouldn't you switch behind and go to the other side? I mean, he's literally standing where Erdoya is after he hits that, so somebody's got to cover the other side. For that very reason, then they easily can get that ball. There you go. You see Powers going to work in a cutoff volley. Oh, that's a great get from Erdoya. And there you see Powers going to work again, cutting off a volley and hitting the offensive volley. As Burge is coming up to hit an offensive shot, he's coming right back at him. Powers has that ability. Really good get from Erdoya.
Yeah, I see Erdoya coming. I'm running. I'm heading for the hospitality tent.
That time Powers closed in. Oh!
Add in.
Kind of a half commitment forehand there from Erdoya. Just nets it. Had a spot open.
Brad, I think the other semifinal, Fraser Morgan just won the first set from Durant Mitchell, 6-4.
All right, so deuce. And that time we saw the same play, and that time Erdoya did move over to trail behind Burge, which is exactly what they needed. The ball went out anyway, so it didn't matter, but good adjustment for them. Cutting it in there. Great dig. Erdoya's been making some amazing gets.
Oh, my.
Trying to tag him.
Crazy
Couldn't quite
good.
get him. Erdoya's going to drive that. And he earned that point. But that was a mistake on that last overhit. He overplayed it. Should have played a long one through, and it gave him an opportunity to drive. But Erdoya with some great gets. Oh, Burge. Ooh.
Deuce.
See Doya's face. We get a good look at him here in this back screen. He's just grimacing, not because of pain, just that he missed that one. Burris unloaded on a couple backhands. Great volleys there from Hughes Powers.
I just love watching the overhead setup from Powers. That was paddle goes back, Brad, and he's the shorter of all the guys out here in the court, but he can just let that ball drop lower than anyone, and
there he goes for an offensive
crush
volley
those
again.
Overheads.
Slap shots it long. Another break point. It's a big moment in the match. Burris or Doya realize it. Get pumped up here. Yeah, they're upping their game, Burris Erdoya, getting more offensive. Oh, full slip there from Erdoya. Wow. And talking about that, the conditions out here, there's some wetness out. He's going to tattoo that.
Couldn't tell if he tweaked something there, Brad.
Couldn't tell either. He looks okay to me right this second, but we'll see. And they are really working Erdoya. They are coming after him there. Great play. He looks fine, but the slip, a little scary there for a moment. These are great points.
Yeah, and they're having, success going after Mick because Sven is just being a rock star. He's just not missing anything when they go his way, and so it kind of allows them, just to go after Mick, which is amazing to think about, that you go after Mick Erdoya a little bit.
Well, they're going after him well. They're putting the ball long and deep in there. Just a perfect play. That is vintage Burris Erdoya. Anything hard from that second pull over on Burris's side over is Erdoya's territory to drive off the screen, and he just perfect shot there right off the top of the net. Gotta be so careful with that. If you hit it too soft, he tattoos it off the deck. You hit it a little hard, he tattoos it off the screen. Seems to be a bit of a problem.
Oh, that was a little short, right through the middle. Again,
Nice
you
call.
saw Erdoya get to the net and kind of a little slide.
Yeah, this is great stuff out here. That's so dangerous. He's got to be careful. Wow.
Loved the lob volley from Powers as he was retreating, and then
Erdoya,
John just had a huge swing on that ball, didn't make it.
4-4.
It's 4-all now. Wow, that was a big game and great play from the participants there. Powers just wanted to hit an attacking overhead, but he cut it down and just popped the ball up. Good transition. This is just a great match.
Now they're playing a ton of balls to Erdoya, fairly successfully. But don't you feel like Erdoya's been ignited here, and maybe this is the time to go right at Sven? And Sven's, if you get the ball over to right into Sven's body on his forehand, he doesn't necessarily tag that shot. He's kind of sitting on his two-hand backhand waiting for that. Might be time for that.
Well, we talked about there's no simple, safe place on the court, but yeah, I mean, it's certainly a good point. One of the safer places in the backcourt is if you can get the ball off of Burris's forehand side. He's not usually hurting with it. He will move over and tattoo the backhand and lob and set up that move, so it's not always that easy to get the ball there. These players all know how to get their weapons. But you're right, Patty. If they can find that safe place, it's sort of been a double-edged sword. They're attacking Erdoya and getting points with it, but then they're attacking Erdoya every now and then and missing the spot with the overhead, and pops up a little, and then he's just ripping it right back at him. So there's the double-edged sword.
The ball looks like it has no flocking left on it, Brad.
I think that's because it has no flocking left on it, Patty.
You think so?
I think that ball is toast.
I mean, you
Yeah.
are just a brilliant mind, Brad.
Oh, well, you're the one who brought it to the forefront here, Patty. You're the one who noticed that. I want all credit to you on that observation. That ball is just completely bald. You know.
And the color change, I just noticed it was harder for me to pick up with the paler yellow color underneath the bright green flocking.
Here we go. Now Urdoya Bursch is starting to do a few of those cutters. Doesn't seem to be bothering the players at all. The same quality of play as before. Wow, such a good dipper. Great volley there from Urdoya.
Yeah, he just kept his paddle so still. I thought he was in trouble, and he just beautiful response.
What a bail from Urdoya. He has just been awesome in these transition plays. He's flying around the court, bouncing off the screens, and then he comes up with that. And right now, that's the one play that hasn't worked for him yet. The Urdoya drive with the Bursch blitz. When Urdoya's hitting it and following himself, it's worked. But in those cases there, I don't think they don't have quite the sync on if Urdoya's getting at his feet or not. And in that case there, Bursch was moving in, but Hughes is volleying down. Great play.
Yeah, but I think Urdoya put the ball on the wrong side of Hughes. Hughes is a lefty, and he took that shot to the right of John, and that was where his strength is as a volleyer. I think Mick had to hit that ball down the middle.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. And that kind of be what I mean by being in sync. I don't think Urdoya knows that, you know, Bursch is going. So he's just picking a spot for his drive, and, you know, sometimes you move it one place, sometimes you move it another. All right, so we got love 40 here. Now it's first point there for Bursch Urdoya. It's been a great response, good points here. Oh, boy.
30-40.
That's just that no pace dump shot.
It's just a miss by Hughes. Just take a quick peek over at the match over at Morgan and Frazier, and Mitchell's just, you know, just shaking his head, looking a little downtrodden. They're giving him all they can handle. Oh,
Frazier Morgan looking to make the next step, and with a little unhealthy Stephen Mitchell, you know, Adam and Tyler are in a great position over in that semifinal matchup.
Oh, little dipsy doodle forehand.
When people take lessons with you, do they say, can we work on the dipsy doodle shot today?
It's just a special occurrence. I offer it once a year, and I'll actually put you on the email list, Patty. You too can hit a dipsy doodle.
Excellent.
This point is great. And there's Urdoya going to work.
Urdoya wants the ball, Brad.
Yeah, not switching back. This is a different look that works for them too. They can get back to back. Like, you know, Urdoya can stand in that center and try to bait him to go to his side wire. And you can get Bursch actually sliding up to the side wire or looking for that hard forehand. Here comes the blitz again.
Yeah, I love the tactic from Bursch and Urdoya to stay put and just give Hughes and Powers just a little bit of a different look here.
That's a tough one. Wow. These guys are really working hard. It's just awesome defense from Bursch Urdoya. Yeah, they might want to slow this down. They're just going hard, 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 hard. Just change it up to wait for the right ball to do something a little more with for Hughes and Powers. It's like, because Bershadoya have slowed this thing down, way down. So here, don't get caught up trying to make it a winner unless you have the right ball to do it on. Catches a seam there, but good job from Burrish.
Good.
That's a perfect lob there from Burrish. Oh, fake! I like that, actually. Keep him guessing. It's a great point for Bershadoya, really recognizing the moment here. Down love 40, chance to get at the deuce. Make them win the point. Here's a good look. Nope, it's going to lob it. Oh! And he goes after it. That ball spun up. What a point.
5 games to 4.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of wow. That's a great point. I thought it was perfect. I mean, they had the right idea in the point, and, you know, you make a choice. Bershadoya thought that's the one he had a clean look on, but the spin still got him a little bit.
And that's the difference. He was over in the ad court. Whereas when he's over in the deuce court, the ball's moving in. Like, he maneuvers his footwork, you know, to hit that inside out forehand, and he got kind of caught in a spot where that shot really wasn't available. Maybe he had to just take it up the line. Really hard to swing that ball across court, even for Bershadoya.
Oh my gosh, that was just a great point. Good recognitions, 5-4. Why is he saying they don't switch? Burrish is saying we don't switch. Why is everybody coming over here? And they're like, no, it's 5-4. I like it. He's in the moment. That's great.
Mark carries the serve.
Yep, serve out this first set if you can. That's been a great match. But I love the way they played that point, Bershadoya. Just didn't come up with it. And they almost got it back to deuce. Smart. That's the pace of overhead that Hughes Powers want when they're going to the middle or if they're not attacking. They want to meet him. You can't let that ball fly off the back screen too much. Otherwise, Bershadoya is going to make you pay. And Burrish will make you pay too. He's got a great screen drive. Short lob, great finisher there from Powers. Awesome shot. Yeah, they can't lob short like that.
What a serve Powers attacked. He went right to Burrish's sweet spot and just handled that 200 backhand. Beautiful.
Yeah, Powers at one time he was fiddling around, got him reaching there. Good stick volley there from 2 points from the set. He was fiddling around with the underhand, you know, sidearm, you know, 3/4 serve, and ultimately he's just going up with heavy leg drive and hitting challenging serves. On the ad side, it's excellent. He's not 6 feet tall or anything like that, but he, with his leg drive, jumps it up and in and heavy into that corner. That's 2 huge balls there from Bershadoya to get this 30-all. Deuce side, though, he's definitely more vulnerable to the attacking return. Wow, they're sticking those returns, but good job from Powers there. See a huge point, 30-all, 5-4 first set. Yeah, Bershadoya definitely playing a much higher brand. Good lob. Oh, just hung that overhead. Hughes knows it. another break point. Borussia Doya fighting back. 30 love. Now it's break point. That's what we're talking about. You're going to see your Doya go all the way to that second post to get his forehand. And there it is, 5-all.
Game. Burris. Adoria. Set. 5-5.
I mean, how cool is Burris? He's just hanging out there. He looks so relaxed. And he just hit, you know, the confidence just hit that off-speed crawl and just got a fluke volley error from Hughes there.
Yeah, they've done a great job fighting uphill this whole way in the match. And, you know, they're really starting to recognize the moments. It's actually kind of a little bit of a danger zone here for Hughes Powers, because if they lose the set, Hughes Powers, it would feel like we had that first set, right? We had it. We were up the whole way. We had it. You know, it's a mental danger zone where you're like, God, I'd let that thing slip away. Now you got to come back from it, and I think they have the mental fortitude to do it. But it's that kind of danger zone. Whereas Borussia Doya started a little slower, and they've been fighting uphill the whole way. And in the big moments, they've responded pretty well. But Hughes Powers, last time they broke right back. We'll see what happens this time. Hughes Powers staying like this in the backcourt, which means the middle's the safe territory. And they'll just keep dumping it there. Ooh, seamer.
You know, he just dumped the ball. You know, just a little flat miss from Powers right there. And
Yeah.
Powers is such a phenomenal athlete, incredible footwork. But sometimes the most difficult shot looks like it's the least challenging shot. Like when he can make an athletic move, and all these guys, they love that. Sometimes when you can dump those balls and get these guys to come out of it like in a flat-footed moment, it's where you might see an error on a drive.
Well, this is where the strategy, sort of the way Borussia Doya do it, kind of get on you, because they're digging it out. They're playing a bunch of balls. Powers really doing a lot of great work. So is Hughes with the overhead. That's been a real bright spot for them. The risk reward, they're definitely on the positive side. If they got burned a few times trying to hit the spin overhead and having it come out the wrong way, but definitely on the positive side, I think. He's going to drive that. Called long.
30-15.
Wow, just a couple of execution misses. I mean, Powers been pretty lights out here.
There's that quick release from Powers again.
Oh, and now it feels like the brakes are going the other way, but
40-15.
they had their opportunities, and this will be the first lead of the match for Borussia Doya. Just been hanging around, and these two teams have had a sort of a history of playing this type of match. The first time they played a huge match against one another, wow. And Hughes Powers,
Game.
little negative energy there in that game, I think.
Adoria. They lead.
Yeah, a little frustration there. You can feel it with John Hughes. And, you know, you see a let cord, Brad, and how many times have we seen that a let cord can actually be the difference in a set?
Oh, it makes a big difference, obviously. I think it's a little deeper than that. You know, they were up. They had chances to win that game before, and then the way it ended, bad overhead, and then just a miss. You know, That was a tough one to swallow. They've been up the whole way, and now Burge Adoya capitalized on a few errors. It's their time right now. See if they can put this thing away. First time they've been up in the match. Grinding it out the whole way. Good for them.
John Hughes serving.
Ooh, that's a good start.
15 rough.
Here he comes all the way over. What he's going to do, he's going to come in. Nice flick there from Powers. Puts it in the open court, keeps it away from Erdoya. Oh, smoke. Great volley. There he goes all the way to the second post. That's his whole territory right out there. Oh, they're getting him to work. That's going out.
What he got from Erdoya, he went to take off. I thought he thought Powers was going to hit a drop cutter right there, and he was already getting ready to go run and track it down for Sven.
Yeah.
He didn't want Sven to have to sweat.
He didn't want to have to move over there. It's different. Burris uses his length. You know, he just kind of reaches and moves. That's a great lob. Oh, nice transition ball back, and he literally whiffs it and gets hit. And Hughes and Powers are going the wrong direction right now. Things are going off the wrong way. Powers got something. I think I heard Hughes say easy, easy there to Powers. 15-30. This will be a killer set to lose for them. They're going to have to redirect. It's not over yet, but 1 point away.
What a slide into second base for Erdoya right there, Brad.
They got to take a minute here. I mean, Hughes and Powers have got to take a second here. Burge Adoya have been fighting uphill the whole way, and they're facing some negativity right now. They got to answer the bell. My God, these gets are insane. Did he get that too? Obviously he did, because the point stopped right there. But 30-40 here. And he's slipping all over the place. That's out. Burge misses that big ball. Crazy turn of events out here.
Back to twos.
Yeah.
Out.
Wow. And we had a missed cutter, a fault, ran into a ball, and that's a tough way to end that set, Patty.
Yeah, Brad, we will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel, presented by eNet Live.
High performance. Never tasted this good. Chocolate, berries, cinnamon, agave. Fuel your car, then fuel your body with Remedy Plus.
From the heart of Chicago up to the North Shore and stretching from the northwest suburbs down to Kankakee. From urgent in-office care to virtual in-home visits, we're making orthopedic care available wherever and however you choose. Because while we're adapting our lives to keep each other safe, we know that new injuries will happen and old injuries will still be. And IBJI is here to help.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are in this semifinals of the men's nationals. Incredible first set here between Burrs and Erdoya and Hughes and Powers and Brad. Just some swings there from the beginning of the match where Hughes and Powers had it to just the, you know, Erdoya got ignited. There was that one point and he hit a shot, and I just thought that could be something that could change, you know, things a little bit. And just maybe Hughes got a little unlucky on one lead cord, but getting a little frustrated in the situation. And you've got to appreciate just the incredible play and discipline that Erdoya and Burrs had in that first set.
Oh, they were great. They fought uphill. They started a little slow, and they worked their way right back into it. And, you know, they took it. But the way that set ended for Hughes Powers, that's a rough one. I mean, there was a ball that just floated over the net. Hughes comes in for it to somehow, he misreads it and runs right into it. Powers misses an undercutter, and you know, Erdoya is slipping all over a couple of times, and it's, I don't know, it was just and then it ends with a fault, and they're up the whole way. This is a moment they got to take a second, dial it back, and say, all right, here we go. Unfortunate turn of events there. We had that set. Let's go. Let's keep working the way we were and get right back to it. And meanwhile, you kind of had it right before Burrs. Erdoya just kind of like walking around, chilling, hanging in the backcourt, and, you know, seemed kind of unfazed being down, unfazed being up. I felt like they would have been unfazed if they lost that set too. You know, whereas Hughes Powers, they need a second here, I think.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, they need a quick mental adjustment here. Feeling a little frustration from John Hughes. But Hughes and Powers, great friends, great buddies, great teammates, and I'm sure they'll get back on track here quickly.
Oh, wow. Nice dig. Yeah, he doesn't really burst, just not hit the undercutter, the one that spins back.
15 love.
All right, this is that sitter forehand. Stay positive. Keep fighting.
30 love.
And
Try
Erdoya
that.
Burrs, I mean, what are they thinking about right now, Brad?
Honestly, don't think they're thinking about anything. I think they're just going about the business the way they were before. There are a couple of moments where they, you know, didn't notice the importance of the point. They slowed it down, but, you know, they just kept grinding. They were down the whole way. They started a little slow,
30, 15.
and they let their style just kind of do what it does. At a certain point, some Powers just kind of lost their way a little bit. Some of that due to the Burrs Erdoya play, some of it due to the Hughes Powers play. Their own play.
You can hear the real calm early call, every love. You, me, you, me.
Oh, what a shot. And there's a great Burrs ball. He loves the screen drive. Significantly more dangerous with the screen drive on his forehand than the deck drive. Great shot. He spotted that beautifully. Oh, pumped up.
Game. Burrs. Erdoya.
Powers is squeezing that ball. You can feel a little of the tension.
0, and they won the first game in the set, 7 games to 5.
Yeah, a little head shake from John Hughes, you know. Just more frustration than anything here, trying to solve the puzzle. What do they have to do? And Nick Erdoya and Sven Burrs are giving them nothing at this point in the match. I mean, Sven did give him an overhead and a missed volley in that last game, but mentally they're giving them nothing. They're just looking up and they're seeing just a rock solid team here in Burris and Erdoya.
Well, that's what they do to you. Burris and Erdoya are great at that. You know, not only do they bring the offense, but they make it hard for you to win the points. And they are, you know, like, Erdoya's been spinning, falling, diving, grunting. Same thing for Burris. He makes these gets, but they're grinding away. They're doing an awesome job. Like Durant Mitchell righting the ship a little bit. Point to go 5-1 in the second set against Morgan Fraser. Fake cutter, and he catches him. Nice job. Just faking that underspin, spin it back into the net shot. Pushed it at his feet.
I mean, how hard is it to do that? To have the, you know, ability to wait and hold that shot and then the restraint to execute?
Yeah, it's really hard. It's just hard to hit the underspin cutter, which sets the whole thing up, and then to actually have the ability to go from one to the other with a quick move of your wrist underneath it or pushing through it. Tremendously hard contact window. 40 love. That's a nice hold from Hughes Powers, pressureless. I think Burris Erdoya took a little mini rest there from coming back in that first set. That was great, easy hold. Both teams off to a decent hold.
Sven Burris serving. Stacy Berman watching from home, cheering on her Jersey guys.
Oh, tags him with a one-handed backhand up into the body. I don't think I've seen that much before. I've never seen him hit. He usually hits that little chip with a blitz behind it. He just shoved that right into Burris. He's not expecting it. And once again, Patty, that ball is completely bald. I think it takes these players 1-2 games, and then the ball is bald, because the way they cut it, the way they move it, any moisture on the court, that flockage is just gone. And it's just been one too many missed opportunities. It's a great look for Hughes.
Yeah, he got what he wanted, and
Get the result he wanted, but the ball to hit. Good serve there by Burris, 30-15.
yep, and critical point in this match, particularly for John Hughes right now, Brad.
Yeah, you might be right. A couple too many great blitz there.
Yeah, well, that's got to make him feel better.
It hasn't been those type of moves. He's been great with those. It's really been, you know, just an occasional forehand look. Oh, right on the line. Hughes goes down. So he can pull on Erdoya, not quite. Down, up. Erdoya's a couple of times almost been down, up, and then somehow found a way to win the point.
Brad, who's the fastest guy going down and getting up on tour?
Well, I know it's not me.
I wasn't even actually
you
thinking
first
of
just
you.
have to. I wasn't even in your. Come on, Patty, give me something. But it's got to be. Well, honestly, it's probably one of these two guys, just because they're the only guys who go down.
Yeah, it's the lefty thing, I think.
And Powers is he's a little off now. He's trying to figure it. He's got to get rid of the frustration. Suzanne Powers got to get back into the way they were playing that first set. And, you know, by all rights, leading it the whole way, just couldn't put it to bed.
Yeah, you could just see Powers is not happy with this ball. Durant Mitchell up 5-2, second set in their semifinal match against Fraser Morgan. And as you can see, Fraser Morgan won that 6-4.
And there you see just a different style. We were talking about the styles before. And right at that point began, you saw Durant right on top of the net and Mitch trailing behind him. They use different styles like that. You won't see that from Burris or Erdoya. They'll play standard side by side at the net and let you just hammer away at them, and they'll try to position volley it back. And if you do get it through them, they just go back in transition. So Big
Fraser
moment,
Morgan.
big hole to serve here.
Yeah,
Time
Fraser
for
Morgan and Durant Mitchell. Both teams won 4 events on the APTA Tour this season.
Yeah, Durant and Mitchell won all the Grand Prix.
Correct.
So, you know, anytime they were in the draw, they pretty much won it. But
That's why
Fraser
their
Morgan's had
ranking
great years.
is number
that's
one
why
in the
they're
country.
Even though Fraser Morgan won 4 tournaments, they're still seated 5th here.
And Brad, can you explain how the rankings work, or when you go to a specific tournament, why are some tournaments worth all? How does the weighting system work for those who might not be familiar with it?
Yeah, the Grand Prix just tend to attract all the top players, and they get a heavier weighting. That means they're worth more points. Everything comes down to a point system. You know, for instance, if you win nationals, I think it's worth is it 110 points towards your total, whereas if you win, say, a lower level tournament, it only might be worth 75, right? And that's for winning it. You win a Grand Prix, it's probably 95 points. So every time Durant and Mitchell winning a point, or you know, a Grand Prix tournament, they're getting more points than every tournament win that Morgan and Fraser are getting. So that puts them up, right? And the teams that are even in the finals of some of these Grand Prix tournaments are getting more points than even a winner of a lesser tournament.
And your ranking is based, and seeds are based on your top 3 results going back to last year's nationals. And so that's why Hughes and Powers and Erdoya Burris, having only played 4 events this year, they could still draw on their great result from last year's nationals and then their 2 best results this year.
Yeah, if you simply go to the finals or have won the nationals last year, you're pretty much guaranteed almost a top 3 seeding unless you win absolutely nothing the next year. You know, you're pretty close to that. It sort of earns you the right. A couple errors there. Burris giving him some positive energy.
Daunting. If you're John Hughes right there looking up, handling this, and Burris return to serve, and you have Mick Erdoya 4 feet from your face. Shout out to everybody at Montclair Golf Club. Join the action, led by Carol Everton.
Good cut there from Hughes. Gets a little Gumby Houdini action out of Erdoya. Can't come up with it. It's a little long.
Why are you sleeping?
Why are you sleeping, Burris yells. And I get it, because it was kind of a high ball, and he did look like, oh, that ball's coming at me, but it was a good hard return from Hughes. And I could see Ed Powers is just kind of, I think the frustration's getting in. He's got to work through this. Because they're going to need that huge forehand of his.
Yeah, I feel like Powers has been kind of taken out of this match a little bit from the baseline.
Well, there was a moment where I could see he was clearly frustrated right towards the end of that second set. Like, how did it get away? And from that moment, he has not quite been the same. So he's going to have to recapture it. And right now, it's been funny. It's been easy holes and a bunch of looser errors from players so far. A lot more tight points going on in that first set. These guys are, you know, just, it seems almost like it's a hangover from that first set a little bit.
No!
Hughes, great move. They are really making work over there. He's done a great job.
No. Ah! Yes. No.
30 all.
30 all here. Ron Borgatti in the chair. It's been a lot of work for the umpires here. The weather's been pretty overall bad. You know, like a lot of squalls, snow. For me, it's been great. We've had no snow out east, so I've enjoyed seeing it. But A little tricky being up in that umpire's chair constantly in this weather. They got great equipment. Ooh, sneaky move, but heck of a volley. And there's the down up again from Hughes. He's on the ground. He's up. And it kind of goes to yesterday when we had in the women's final talking about the conditions of the court and the play. You know, players are slipping. That ball's out.
30-40.
Brad, a lot of people are enjoying this action. Shout out to Karen, Sandy, John Oliva, all from up north. And if you want to ask Brad any question, this is the time. Throw it into the chat.
Are we having a segment here, Patty?
We're going to have a segment.
Ask Brad.
Ask Brad.
Oh, look at that on the break point. Just a great shot. He gets it to just stay on that side wire, but Powers is angry. You can see him. Doesn't normally make an error like that. These break points are precious right now. They want to get the lead again.
Joe. Joe. Me. Me. Me.
Powers unloads. Great volley from Bursch.
Joe.
All right, they're slowing it down here. Such a huge point.
Me. Yo.
Lobbing from Hughes Powers. Waiting for the right ball to hit.
Yo, me. Me.
Vance almost gets tagged.
Yeah.
Doesn't fall down. It all worked out.
So, Brad, here's your first question. Any thoughts on creating a stadium-style court for the finals in future years? Have the court surrounded for have the bleachers covered? Cover the spectators? What do you think about that, Brad?
I think that's a good point. We can start crowdfunding right now and require a different use of funds.
We just need more APTA members. Everybody out there, support the sport, and so important for all the leagues to make the investment in the APTA. And these are things that, wouldn't it be great if we could put a canopy up and cover things? Everything takes money, and the more APTA members that we have, more league participation, the door's wide open in the future. Who knows? You gotta believe.
Look at this action here. I like that. Gotta believe. Fusion can make up those things for you. The gotta believe things.
Brad, do you have a lucky breakfast that you like before you commentate on the semifinals of men's nationals?
It's not Lucky Charms. I do not have a lucky breakfast, no.
Yeah, see, I think Burrs and Ergoya really are into the Lucky Charms for breakfast. It worked for them last year in nationals, clearly.
That little leprechaun, he is cute.
It's that time of year, Brad. Big day Friday.
Oh, look at him. He's almost down again. Lob volley. Come on. He's slipping again. Oh, he had that ball. Wow.
Add in.
How about that? What a point. He throws up the lob volley, and Powers is walking it off. Advantage for Bursch or Doya. They had a break point here. There's a point where they just got to rise above this stuff, but this is what the matchup we expected out here. These guys have a battle, and I never got to make the point before, but the first time these guys played a real match, Hughes Powers were up like 6-1, 5-1, and a couple things happened, and all of a sudden it ended up being 7-6 in the third. These are the kind of matches that these guys play. But Hughes Powers against this team, has had sort of this, I wouldn't call it a history, but like it's a little bit of a history of, you know, Berkshire Door, you get down, then they come back, and it's tough. That's a big cutter right there. I like the fist pump from Hughes. Turns his back, walks away, fist raised in the air, deuce. His power's got to get a little more energy, get over the frustration. It's definitely out there. The court definitely slipping for people. Sort of begs the question we talked about yesterday, but it's always been an all-weather game. You know, and it's a curious thing because a lot of the stuff comes to equipment. I don't. That's just an awesome overhead there from Burish. Slaps it at the corner, but there's been some courts that I've been on this year, which, forget the weather, that have had a slippery component to them with no weather, no condensation, no nothing, and then some of it might be paint, some of it might be other things. This just kind of goes to the surface itself. Something to look into. Great dig. He's going right in the crease. He gets it again and again. Hughes slips, but two awesome overheads into the crease for Burish. Finishes that game. And let's talk about Fusion. And Fusion is a proud partner of the APTA. Fusion curates what's next in branded gear and apparel for your company, your team, or your event. With a team of dedicated industry experts, Fusion curates high-end product selections for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate identity. They create a stress-free shopping experience with custom online stores and quick custom ordering to get the gear you need now without any hassle. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion provide you with the gear to fuel your brand.
We're at the Glenview Club in Gulf, Illinois. Patty Hogan with Brad Easterbrook. Great action from the semifinals. Burr Serdoya won the first set 7-5. They're up 3-2 in the second set. Mark Towers to serve.
Yeah, that's a big moment. You know, Hughes Powers got to get a little more energy back in him. Basically been up most of this match, not this set, but and yet they're on the losing end of it. And all credit goes to Burr Serdoya. I love the way Burrish finished that last game. Two overheads right into the crease. So another slip out of Hughes. Maybe they should change shoes every 5 games.
I was thinking of that.
You know, like that's it. You know, maybe instead of the balls, which are balled after a game or two anyway, change shoes.
Brad, Michael Franco has a question for you. Any tips on handling a big lefty drive? He says when he plays against lefties, he has trouble picking up the ball coming off the paddle, and he misses the volley. What advice would you offer, Michael?
Oh, gee, that's a tough one. I'm not, you know, why would it be lefty drives that you can't pick up? And it's just got to be some sort of visual thing, because I've never found a lefty drive to be more difficult. Spin goes the other way, but it's the same drive. So I got to think about that one, Michael. Get back to you.
That was a tough question, I've got to admit, Brad. I didn't mean to stump you.
You did? You have to take a moment.
Brad, can I help you with the answer?
You sure can. Bring it.
I've got a thought. I found sometimes when I played lefty-righties that if I had a hard time with the lefty shot, I would then, if I was to create an opportunity to feed someone a drive, I'd take it to the righty. If I can't read the ball off someone's paddle, then go to the other player.
Whoa, that was strange. It's almost like Hughes was walking off like he thought it was a winner, and I think he was. That's right in the crease. And Burris tracks it down. Great job. These players literally are sliding on the court. They are sliding. They're actually, I think, Bedoya is actually sliding into his ball. I've never really seen it on a paddle court before.
Are the heaters on?
Yeah, they're talking about it right now. They're actually talking about
And
the
heaters
heaters
and
of the surface
powers.
here.
Brad, I feel like they're just having like a mental flashback to last couple nationals where they've gone out and the weather played a role in those matches.
You know, I was talking yesterday to Rob Lamoon, who was in the chair for the women's finals, and it was kind of a big deal, right? We had the question about the conditions of play and coming off, and I spoke to him after the match was done back at the hotel. I happened to run into him, and I said, you know, what do you think? He said, it really was a concern, and somebody brought it up, and you know, he said he can't make the decision, but you know, they can bring it out and check on it. He did say the court was slick, so, and from what I'm seeing out here, there's definitely sliding going on.
Brad, I did just see tournament director Jason Love turn on the heaters. I can hear them now under
Jeez, he's down
under
again.
the touch.
We just talked about it. He slipped right out. I mean, it's a good thing I'm not playing. My body would shatter if I felt like that, like 1,000 pieces. Of course, I don't move fast enough to slip, but anything's possible. But you know, I've never seen this many people go down.
Yeah, and Hughes and Powers are they're sort of mentally really struggling here.
I mean, they're hanging around, so this is a big point here. If they get behind, I'd be really worried. But they are hanging around. 30-all, big moment. Switching to backcourt. Maybe they can do to Burris or Doya what they did to them in the first set. Right? Never quite ahead. Hang around, fight a little to the end, and then come up with the goods when it matters. Oh, he got it! Just reaches it in time to flip a little drive over Burris. He's got that one too. He keeps walking them off like they don't got him, but they do.
What do they have to do to win a point here?
They're doing a great job putting pressure on. They just can't finish him off. But Burris did a great job recognizing he was going to that short corner loop right up. This is like he's long Burris. He's got a lot of reach.
Brad, Person or Doya, I mean, you teach this all the time. You got to know in this game when someone's bringing like the heat and the offense, and you know they're buying into exactly when they should stay on the defensive and putting a million balls back in play, not forcing anything. I love their decision making in this match so far.
They've done a great job with that. You know, they haven't always executed, but yeah, I think in general, there's only been a couple of bad choices. It's a nice ball there, a tricky little shot from Burris. Great lob. It's gonna get tattooed. Nice volley. That's getting tattooed. Screen drive back. How about that play-by-play? Ah, again. That's going to be too far off the side. And he slid into that shot. That's out. That's just a what do you have to do to win a point? It's kind of just going in a tough zone here for Hughes Powers. Great defense from Burris or Doya.
Wow.
Yeah, the only mistake shot they made in that was when they went to the side screen and it came back to the middle after they had him running. But they really put a lot of pressure on. Great defense.
A break point here against Powers.
Yeah. Great defense. That's going to get smashed, but he misses it. I don't think Powers has missed a serve the whole day. Very effective. That's a great overhead.
Got some Long Islanders watching. John McMillan chiming into the chat room. He thinks the conditions favor Berserker because he thinks Powers' forehand is neutralized on the slippery court. Karen Salerno also watching from Long Island. Just as loving the action, our biggest fan watching eNet Live. Shout out to Karen.
You know, it's an interesting point. McMillan certainly knows his way around the paddle court. Oh, how about that? Maybe this is what they need. A little fight back. Come back from adversity. It's been going the other way on them. They've been facing the adversity, even though they've been up a lot of it.
Sick hands from Powers on the first volley there.
That's gonna get hit.
Brad, what's your favorite shot during wet conditions?
I mean, I haven't noticed
Not
the
including
conditions.
fireball.
Outside the movement, I haven't noted a single ball that is skidding or hydroplaning or anything of the sort. So these are basically regular play conditions. The movement's been the real problem. These guys are slipping all over the place. None of the play has been affected by anything else other than that. He slid into that one too. He's not getting that one after doing it to him twice before. Finally gets him. Wow. This would be a really good comeback. Could be maybe a little turning point for Hughes Powers. A little life back in the tank. These guys have sort of responded. What a serve from Powers and a double fist pump. Wow.
Gigantic hold for Mark Powers right there.
Oh, look at that. Burrish with his link just reaches out, hits a perfect touch volley, and then he sort of just misses to push down the line. Good return and blitz there from Hughes. That's what you were talking about before. He's kind of that forehand. He's not pulling the trigger on it quite as much. So now it's 2-1 Durant Mitchell up in the third set. So split sets there. Wow. He said he can't get any grip on the ball. That goes to the point. Brought up by Johnny McMillan. The third, I believe. Long Island legend.
Couple senior national titles.
Oh, good leave and a good call from Powers. Looked like he was going to reach up. Powers told him to let it go. Great play. Big moment. Serve good. Yeah.
He hit it. It looked like it was
looked
going
out to me, but nice move. And just Burris taking aim at that crease again. He had two incredible creases to finish a game before. There it is. Nice play by Hughes. Oh, he doesn't come up with a dink.
30 all.
30 all. Wow, nice Burrish. Great transition. Really good serve and blitz volley there from Hughes. Can't do it any better. It's hard to finish these guys off.
Yeah, you just see Hughes lining up that cutter overhead. He just powers through those shots with, you know, just building the energy from his legs. Oh boy, what a shot. Rick Doty just caught John Hughes off guard.
Wow. That's a well-spotted drive. Wow, he's working him. Oh, wait. I don't know what happened then. All of a sudden, Burge, did he call a switch? They're both putting their hands out. I don't think either one of them know what happened.
Yeah,
there,
I don't know
think
what
he called a
language the switch was called in, Brad, but
Yeah, he
clearly
used
not one
Croatian.
they both understood.
Croatian and not Estonian. But, yeah, a little miscommunication there. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad call. Just give, you know, give him a break. You know, he's been worked over there a ton, Erdoya. And Burst got the forehand, which kind of allows him to sort of reach back. It's a little easier to reach back with your forehand and make those gets than it is with your backhand side. So it's actually not a bad call. It just, they didn't know. You know, they felt they were not on the same page there. But you can see the work he's having to put in here, Erdoya. See, this is what he wanted to do last time. Just get over there and have his defense go into that side. All right, fist pump again from Hughes. Love to see that. All right, another break point here for Hughes Powers. Powers been timing the returns great, but off the deck, definitely not feeling the same. I jinxed him right there. Great serve from Bursch.
What a serve from Erdoya right there, Brad. Just caused John Hughes to hit a flyer.
Yeah,
I mean, the serve from
Bursch,
Bursch,
yeah.
obviously.
And there's 3 missed returns to finish it out, and all that hard work. That's a tough one again. Another Houdini move from Bursch Erdoya. They've been doing it all match.
You know, Hughes Powers a little unlucky in this match, but that game, just a couple of poor choices for them.
Yeah, and Bursch has a great serve. You can't make them all, but it's just coming down to the time of when you're doing these things. And when the modes have been big, they just come up with the goods. Wow, we're getting a little sight of the action there, and that was an incredible. The ball was behind Mitchell, and he flips it back over, and they end up getting the point. That was a cool little snippet there from our other semifinal match.
We're at the Glenview Club in Gulf, Illinois. I'm Patty Hogan with Brad Easterbrook. Exciting semifinal men's action here with Bursch Erdoya, our number 2 seed and defending national champions, up 7-5 and up 4-3 on John Hughes and Mark Powers.
Yeah, it's been an incredible match. You know, a lot of swings. That's out. Big moments.
Exasperation right now from John Hughes.
Definite frustration from Hughes and Powers. That's one heck of a volley. Again, he's sliding into that. He came in, slid, looking for that blitz. He's actually, I think, learned how to move out here. It's just not something you ever think about, sliding on a paddle court, and yet it seems to be what you got to do out there a little
Yeah,
bit.
they're channeling their clay court tennis days, Brad.
I haven't actually seen it.
Were you a slider, Brad? Did you love going over to clay, or did you prefer the harder surfaces?
Well, I love sliding, and it's great. And that's a lot of fun sliding on the clay, there's no question. game was more suited to hard court, but it was still, clay's a blast. And I do think learning on clay is actually better for you than learning on hard. He's going to hit that one. He misses it. All right, Hughes Power's got to build here.
3-3. Duran Mitchell. 3-2.
2 Duran Mitchell. They're battling, coming down to the wire. Third
On Adam,
set.
yeah. Up on Tyler Frazier and Adam Morgan.
Yes, yes.
Chicago's own Adam Morgan.
Absolutely. And this is just a great performance from them, Morgan. Frazier, the last time they played, oh, he fell as he was hitting that? Wow.
Why am I trying that?
15-30.
15-30.
She's had a couple of spots where he's hit some really awkward shots here, Brad.
Well, it looked like
Or
he was falling
attempted some
down when
really
he was hitting
awkward
that,
shots.
though. I think it was a regular cutter, and he was falling.
just went down.
I can't see anything else that happened. Oh,
30 all.
that one he just misread. Excellent kick from Hughes, and it literally kicked right into Burr. I think it actually hit him in the face. Great serve, 30 all.
So the heaters are still running here, Brad.
Yeah, the amount of propane used this weekend is a lot. We'll go with that. Non-stop squalls been coming through Chicago area. It's considered lake effect weather, but it's not been any real accumulation. I wouldn't say we've gotten more than an inch, or it's really kind of the temperature's right in that zone where it's not going to stick anyway. Right? It's a little warm. It's right on the kind of that line. All right, big moment here for Hughes Powers to end up with a game point. Serve in the box, step one. What a return from Verdoya, and he's falling over again, and he's kicking the screens. And I get it. Tough conditions out there, 4 all. First negative thing I've seen, though, out of Verdoya. They've been, like, really chill the whole time, Patty.
Yeah, they have just total frustration here, and you kind of know how Mick stands, and it's totally understandable. Real tough conditions for all these players, and that time it didn't work. It worked against Verdoya, and he vented. And they're really happy to get rid of that ball, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. They might want to go to, in these types of conditions, a ball change every game to every 3 games. You know, I would advocate for something like that. You know, conditional ball change, because it's literally a game. It's a single game, and that ball is done. Yeah, so Durant Mitchell, we just reported up 3-2 in their semifinal over there. All these teams battling out here.
Mick Verdoya is serving. Up 4-3, second set.
That was a medical timeout on the other semifinal by whom? Scraped his hand on the ground, so getting a little medical timeout for Adam Morgan.
You. Me.
Love 15.
I'll go here.
Love 30.
All right, love 30. Powers and Hughes had an opportunity last game. Couldn't convert. They ended with 3 missed returns. Here they're got a love 30 lead. They can finally put one to bed here. It's been just a wild turn of events on this match, Patty.
You know, Brad, you talked about it sometimes when courts have been newly resurfaced. I mean, these courts look like they've been resurfaced probably in the last year or 2.
Oh, that's just
But just
awesome.
the circumstances out here, and you know, the heaters sometimes can stay ahead of it, and they went off, and maybe no one noticed when the heaters went off, and so they've got them back on.
That's a big transition ball, and just like that, it's 30 love. Bursch has been amazing with his ability to hit the crease of the nick, and there's just a great transition ball, vintage Udoya. And, oh, what a get! Oh, Hughes sticks it right back at him.
2 in a row.
Oh, there was 2 in a row, I heard, so that's second ball. We can't really see that from our vantage point, Patty. Hit the net.
I'll go here.
All right, Powers getting pumped up for this return. Another big moment. And he's got a screen drive there. He's going conservative.
I was really surprised he didn't take a swing on that.
You know, he missed the last one on break point, so but it's surprising to see Powers go the conservative route with a forehand like that. Again, he's just reaching, not sure where or how to move, but it's a great series of balls by John Hughes. And here we are again, Hughes Powers serving for the set.
Oh boy, Brad, I think we might get 3 here today.
I don't think this is good for my hypertension, Patty.
You're medicated for it?
Medicated for a whole host of things, Patty. We could take a whole segment on that if you want.
Let's narrow it down to 3 things that you're medicated for.
Actually, I'm not medicated for anything. Probably I should be.
And Brad, quick note here. Karen Salerno is our #1 female watcher, our #1 fan, and on the guy's side, the one and only Ron Cummins.
The one and only. That's great soft hands there. And again, huge moment. Ooh, that ball might have been going out, but just can't get out of the way of everything. Oh, what a shot. 50 love. Good start there for Powers.
Bursch Doyer up 4-3. Kind of felt like Hughes and Powers were struggling mentally a little bit, and all of a sudden, the worm has turned. They're up 5-4.
Worm has turned, and there's a finishing overhead for Hughes. This would be fitting for this match to go 3 for sure. Powers slowing the serve down now a little and working just on getting in. It's been a smart play for him, actually.
And Brad, what's the benefit for him for hitting a slower serve?
It gives him time to get in and deal with things. The faster serve is harder to get in as well, and the return comes in faster. That's a great shot from Hughes, carving it up. 3 set points now for Hughes and Powers. Anytime Bursch and Doya have been down, they've been just perfect. And that's a great shot there. One set point saved.
Yeah, it's all right.
What a first volley from Powers. Wow. Oh! No! He's got to let it go! Unbelievable turn there. He's got a perfect move, and what a reflex from Bursch. And then he just can't get out of the way. He hits it down, and Doya just spikes him. 2 set points saved. Hughes with the lob. Be a smart play. Wow. Can't believe they're just giving him that forehand. Oh, what volleying. That's going to get tattooed as well. Oh my.
Lord.
And it's sort of been, isn't this right here, basically the story of the entire match? Hughes and Powers, as soon as they get up, something has gone to just bring them back, or it's just a couple of errors, or couple of unfortunate events. Unbelievable. It's like it's kind of repeating itself again here. They got to just weather this. 3 strange points. It started with a great return, then 2 just points that they looked they had some advantage in it. Doyle just comes up with the goods. Bursch as well. Oh, what a get! And oh boy!
man.
And that is just a serious fall there. I think he's. We're going to see. I don't think that had anything to do with court conditions. It was just him making the full out.
No,
scramble.
Hughes just goes flat out, all out, whenever he plays. Is just a fierce competitor.
But look at
That
how
was brutal.
that game raises there for Adoya in these big moments. Wow. I think he's okay, but he should take a minute. He's got a huge scab on his hand.
Yeah, he cut himself.
He's got to take a minute. He's got to deal with that. He's got a huge, like, piece of his hand gone, and maybe this is exactly what happened to Adam Morgan on the other court. But the way
he should take a break here, Brad. He's got to.
I mean, that's unbelievable. He probably won't. He's got to. This is definitely an injury timeout thing. You know, Doya's going to give him some respect. But I don't know how he's going to play with that on his hand right now. He's got to take a second.
I mean, how tough are paddle players, Brad? This is incredible.
Injury timeout. He doesn't want a moment. Huh.
And he doesn't want to take it, Brad, because they have a little bit of momentum right
Well,
here.
they don't right now. There's no momentum after being up 40 love, and then, well, they just got it back to deuce. So, but that's impressive stuff right there. I mean, he's got a lot of blood coming out of his hand. We'll see if it'll affect his overhead. He's going to get hammered. Out!
But I just think in the interest of the match and where we are, he didn't want to leave the court for an injury timeout. Right
You know
there.
what? Tough player, tough guy, and good for him because now they got another set point. Can they convert? Finally. It's got to feel like maybe this is where Powers takes the overheads. Yeah, because he's got that big scab on his hand. We know they can do. Well, it's not a scab yet. It will be. But
How long will it take, Dr. Brad?
Dr. Brad, we'll give it to you later. This is set point here. See if they can finally close one out. They've had a lot of opportunities. That's going to get hit. What a volley. There's a move from Urdoy. He's going to lob that. Urdoy just baiting them to go into his forehand corner. Standing in the center of the court. It's going to cut. Good job by Burris. His defense has been spot on. Oh, what a shot! That's a nick. Nope. Great play. Hughes, what a tough guy. That's amazing. Staying away from the Powers forehand right now. At the crease. Powers with the blitz. Good fake for Bursch.
Ow. A lobbing error from Powers in the ad court. I've seen that once in the last 5 years.
It's just been how it's been every time they've had an opportunity. Urdoya and Bursch have just been up to the task. They have not been able to, you know, just finish the points out. Set points, game points. Hard for them to close it out against these guys. They've been so good in the big moments, Berger. There's a switch. I love that. It does make a difference putting the forehand of Berger over there because he can hit the screen drive when they try to go in there wide with his forehand. Oh! All right. Set point number, I don't know, 4?
4.
5. This game was a 40 love kit. So set point number
you're right,
5 now
Brad.
for Hughes Powers. Great return. This is where their defense has made such a difference. It's in.
Yeah, what a sick lob from Erdoya that you scored.
Oh my goodness. They fight over the ball in the middle. Once again, back to deuce. Frustration creeping back in again. A little bit. You can see it there a little bit on Powers' face. I can see why. It's taking a moment. Great point.
Wow, what a shot from Erdoya. Powers had to kind of guard the line straight ahead, and Erdoya just held that shot. Caught Mark Powers reaching behind him, trying to come up with that volley. I think John Hughes was just going to let the ball go back, go right through, and take it off the back screen.
Right,
Phenomenal shot from Erdoya.
So 5-2 now in the other match. This is smart. Again, Burris immediately go into that defensive position for him, and they'll still get their offense, but this has been smart. You know, gives him a break. Durst with the forehand over that can reach behind him and play defense in that corner. That's going to get hit. See, that's the ball right there that Burris has the better drive with his forehand over there than Erdoya's backhand. Just changes the look. Sneaks it behind him. Behind Erdoya, nice little plays with the right kind of pace. Every time it's been a mo that's going to get smashed. Burris and Erdoya have just answered. There's an attacking volley. We saw that in the quarterfinals from Powers. Likes that play. Oh, he got it on the outside of the line. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Hip pocket volley off the top of the net, right on the line. Incredible. That was a really great drive there from Erdoya. Fitting. Love this. The level's been incredible.
Oh my gosh. Dr. Brad, he hits the most unbelievable paddle volley and then misses that one.
That was too regular.
That's right.
It was just like there. He had to just slide behind a little. He reached a little. All right. Another break point. Here comes the blitz. He missed him. But he had him.
He had him in his sights.
They're switching back immediately. Oh, and I'm surprised he went for that drive there. He just got there. Had he been there, I totally understand him hitting it. He knows it was a mental error. That's why Bursch is yelling. Deuce. Incredible first volleys from Powers. Wow. I mean, that was just a flurry from
Estonia.
From Estonia. Here's a gift. Say hello to my little friend.
Unbelievable, John.
All right. Set point number 6, Patty.
Okay, Brad.
Nothing like a little repeat action here. One of these times, the odds will be in their favor.
What a serve from Powers right there.
Yeah, their defense has been so spot on in these moments. And then those Arduria forehands just come in. Ooh, I thought it was a crease there. They got to switch back. I can't believe he got it. Patty, I'm going to take a moment. Bring us to a break, Patty.
Hey, you know what? We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by eNet Live.
First set, 7 games to 5.
High performance never tasted this good. Chocolate, berries, cinnamon, agave. Fuel your car, then fuel your body with Remedy Plus.
We are back at the Chicago Nationals, starting the third set of the men's semifinals between Mikkel Doya and Sven Burris up against Mark Powers and John Hughes. And we have just had an incredible match. First set won by Burris Doya 7-5, and then Hughes and Powers just weathered that storm there. It just looked like everything was going south. They just came up with a couple of big-time shots and big-time moments, and they've leveled this match out. And I think it's just only fitting, Brad, we get 3 sets in this semifinal as well.
I mean, it's just been an incredible match, not only with the shot making, but actually just the swings and the feeling and the tension out there. You can feel the frustration from Hughes and Powers, and they finally, you know, they were up almost the entire match, right? You know, the first set, and then they lose at the end, and the way they lost was really tough. And then here they were kind of the ones just always serving to hang in and to stay in there, and they finally get their break at 4-all, almost losing to go down 3-5, and then they're able to pull it out. And Burris or Doya have just been almost perfect on the big points. And the last one was really the only crack they had. That last ball that we saw that Doya tried to hit was kind of up over his head, and Burris made one move when they make it switch in the backcourt, and that's all it's taken. But the moments have been incredible in this match. In the times in between, a couple errors here and there, but when the moments have gotten tight, it's been intense, intense battle. That plus people are slipping and sliding. It's like it's a regular old slip and slide out there. And Hughes fully lays out, doesn't take a break, comes back on, and they hold that game. Just
Yep, I think
lot.
John is getting medical attention right now, I think, and trying to clean up.
Yeah, and that's good. You know, the other guys try to keep themselves moving. Yeah, there's a great shot somebody is showing us of the hand. There's blood everywhere, and that blood on the, you know, all over his shirt, his fusion shirt there. Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of
gotta
abrasions, and I
figure
think
out a
he's
way.
got it actually on his chest and his body.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, how does he hold on to his paddle here? It's quite remarkable. And
Well,
the pain.
he was able to do it in that last game, but there is that moment when your body gets hurt where it's sort of not bad, but then it starts to come on a little bit later because you got all the adrenaline. We'll see what happens in about, you know, 15 minutes after the adrenaline starts leaving his body a little bit.
It's that 25-minute mark, Dr. Brad, when it all of a sudden changes.
Yep, this will be our Dr. Brad segment. We can do that. But
Ask Dr. Brad. Let's go.
right, got any
Bring the
medical
questions in the chat room.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. You know, we just heard from producer John, Patty, that they're changing his grip because it was all soaked with blood on it. And I don't know that he's going to be, that's not the kind of wound that you can bandage. I mean, you could wrap some tape around it, but he may not want that because you'll lose the feel on the paddle in your hand. So he might just have to have 2 or 3 grip changes in this set or something like that. Oh, what a set there. Look at that. It's almost like he kind of wiped the blood off, and you can see he's got red abrasions on his chest. And I don't think that's from tanning. I think it's from when he laid himself out. Yeah, so here we go. Burrish to serve. Not going to take one. They're getting right at it. Hughes increasing his positioning on the court, standing right on the baseline, looking for sort of little bunt lows that he can use to possibly follow in with a blitz. Ooh.
Dr. Brad, has John Hughes ever played a match where he hasn't bled?
I'm going to say yes to that, but he leads the league in bleeding. Oh, just another great move. Oh, hands! Oh, wow. That's just perfect hands, guys.
What a pickup. How did he get his body out of the way of
We
that?
got to get some highlight reels of this stuff. And here comes Powers.
Brad, how would you pick a highlight reel? I would show the entire match.
This is one giant highlight reel. Hands out here in the transitioning back. You cannot do this better. Oh, he flies that one. And that shot right there, that one right there, Patty, is the reason why Burrish wants to switch in the backcourt, because that's easier for Burrish on his forehand side than it is for Doya on his backhand. And Doya can make that. But of the shots that Doya has, the millions, that's not the one. That's, if you want to lose to Doya, you want him to beat you with his backhand. So, about 30. Good soft overhead. He reads. Hughes moving up the line. He just pushes it down the middle. They do a great job with that, actually, Erdogan and Burrish.
Dr. Brad, Dave Johnstone's watching this, and he's at the edge of his seat. And he said the only calm thing about the match is listening to your silky smooth announcing.
Well, thank you, David. if you need like soothing nighttime tones, give me a
There's
call.
an app for Dr. Brad.
All right, look at these guys. Wow, Hughes. Oh, and the let court there for Burrish works it out. And this is the one area where it can work a little bit. Like the Hughes dink will work because those guys don't close off the net, so you can dink it. But they count on you're going to miss enough of them, Burrish or Doy, and you know they'll be able to transition to a few of them and hit it around you that you won't win that many points. But it is available to use the dink and blitz against Burrish or Doy. It won't be available against a team like Durant and Mitchell. Notice they slowed it down enough in that first set. Powers got a lot of screen drives. They pretty much completely dried that up for him using their overheads. Much more control. It's hard to win points against Burrish or Doya. The defense at the net and in the backcourt is astounding.
Semi-final. Gordon Frazier just won the last game. Durant Mitchell up 5-3, third set.
Oh, great get there from Burrs. That's going to get hit. Nope. Play. I love this move, though, where they move into that zone, and that is just really good points there. Powers taking aim. Gets the stretch. I think that might have been Erdoya's, but that's a great spot. Break point here for Hughes Powers.
To your point that you said earlier, Burrs and Erdura didn't close on that point. They were off the net. They had a little room. Powers found the spot.
Well, that's
Powers win the first game of the third set.
And that's vintage Powers right there, picking the spots with those drives. He spots it about as well as anyone in the game. And there's a good start, but I don't know. These Powers haven't done that great whenever they're ahead. They might want to keep sneaking in from behind.
They're playing really well from behind.
But however this turns out, it's been a heck of a match, Patty. And they got Hughes serving first out there. Fault on the first point. John just coming in with a nice chicken sandwich. They got a great barbecue going here at the Glenview Club. They're going into this defensive position some more. I think it does work.
And the great thing, Brad, I don't think it's raining or snowing.
That's the ball they got to be careful with. That ball that's a little lower. I prefer Bergedoy to stay away from that as a drive. Now, the Erdoya forehand, I'm never going to question it when he pulls the trigger, but anything waist high or higher, he should pull the trigger whenever he wants. That ball's lower than that. I don't think the advantage is there for him, especially when he's not able to be moving it forward in the court. So probably better to keep that one in his back pocket. Great lob, pushes it back. Very few missed cutters today from Hughes, though. And now it's 15-30. Powers just sticking those volleys right back at him. Big serve from John Hughes. Comes right back at it. similar to the game they held at 3-4 in that second set, Patty, where they were down, but then they come up with a couple of big moments. Oh. Hughes, great pace, plays the transition perfectly.
They lead this third set 2-0.
Wow.
Well said, Patty.
Hughes and Powers
full
were
concur,
almost
fully
done.
concur.
They were almost on their way to O'Hare, I thought before. And remarkably, they turned this thing totally around.
Yeah, but this is for the entire match where Bursch and Odoya have been lights out. Anytime they've been down, you know, can you keep it up for the entire play? I don't know, but anytime they've been down, they have responded, and it's been great and remarkable to see. Yeah, Hughes and Powers also have that sort of different ways that they bring the offense. Powers spots the drive, can hit it super hard, but incredible spots. Can blitz, but Hughes, quick moves with the blitz behind, right? But never really, rarely is it the thunder drive. It's more like the quick low one, blitz is up there. It's a nice combination. Powers finding his forehand now. He had a little moment.
Yo. Yo.
Burris has been amazing when he goes for the crease and hitting a reasonable percentage. It's definitely made a difference in this match too, so if he gets a ball to aim for it. Hasn't gone for it yet. Oh, and Powers misplays that. He opts for the second screen, and he's actually kind of perplexed. Not sure how he misplayed it. Big point there.
Mitchell have earned a berth, pulled out that match in the third set, 6-3 against Fraser Morgan. Looking for their third national title together and Durant's national title number 6.
Yeah, kudos to them. That was another amazing semifinal. You know, anybody who watched either one of these courts this morning would have been treated just incredible paddle.
Hey, Dr. Brad, who's got a lower resting heart rate, Sven Burrs or Dave Ohlmuller? Spanning decades here. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an amazing question.
It was an amazing question from
yes,
Ron Cummins.
amazing question. Who has a lower resting? I'm going to go with Bjorn Borg, but outside of that, I'll certainly take Dave O. Why not? He's been spending that much time on the bike. I'm sure he's earned that. That's a great use of the cut drive. Just tough. Couldn't quite come up with it.
Yeah, I'll go here.
Brad, little comment from Matt Flynn in the chat room. And Brad, Matt thinks you have an amazing face for audio-only broadcast.
That's perfect. Matt Flynn, oh my goodness. Yes, that Matt Flynn. Hello, Matt. He'd be right on target. It's 2-1 now for Hughes Powers.
Hughes Powers leads 2-1.
The men's finals, originally slated for 1 o'clock, will start at least an hour after the conclusion of this semifinal match, Brad.
Yeah, I would assume they're giving it at least an hour. I mean, this isn't going to be done until after 12 o'clock. Finals are supposed to go on at 1. They may be pushing it back to 1:30. My flight's at 5:30. Somebody do the math. May not be able to make it to the end, Patty.
Might be another missed
We'll see
flight,
about
Brad.
that. And Waldron can tune in, so it's glad to hear viewers like Matt Flynn out there. He's a longtime friend of Mark Powers. I'm sure he's got a rooting interest here. Oh, again, the fake. Yeah, the style has been just great. There's a switch in the backcourt for defensive purposes. They'll still get their offense in a strange way. When they try to attack that side screen in the deuce side now, they can get some offense from the screen drive of Bursch. So this has been a good play for them, I think. Great discipline here from Bursch. Great discipline.
Yes.
Oh, and he draws the error, not from anything other than just perseverance and discipline.
Brad, we're at the 2-hour, 45-minute match time in this. Brad, Dave Johnstone wants me to talk about your golf game. He says your voice is better than your golf game. True or false?
Well, that would depend. You know, John, our producer, chiming in true. He's never seen my golf game. But the answer would be yes. Right on the line there. Great hands from Powers, able to blunt the power of those returns. There's the switch. Negative about this scenario is defensively I do think it's better, but offensively I'm not sure it is. But this is how they're dialing it in, and they did get that error, and maybe this is how they're going to try to get to the finals, through a defensive mindset, kind of look for the opportunities. Wow, this is just amazing stuff. Nick, what a get from Bursch. Oh, no!
30-15.
Wow! That transition stuff is just incredible, and that get from Bursch, not only was it a get, but he put the lob way back into court, just phenomenal. Roller from Hughes. He'll do it, but mostly you see the sliders.
We're at the Glenview Club in Golf, Illinois. Patty Hogan along with Brad Easterbrook. Watching incredible action from the men's semifinals. See who earns a berth to come up against Durant and Mitchell.
Now it seems, Patty, curious to get your perspective on it, like the approaches at the nets from the two teams seem a little different, right? It seems like Powers Hughes definitely going much more for attacks, cuts, right? And much more sort of push it down the middle, soft, and then one sort of blue moon. So Burris or Doya definitely not trying to speed this thing up more unless they have a real opportunity. And there's this great shot from Powers.
Wow. A sick volley to be able to hit that, have that control, keep that ball just dying on the court. There's few unreturnable shots out here. That's one of them.
Blitz from Burris. And just a heavy cut spinner. They're going to have to lob a little better, but a lot of pressure from the Hughes Powers overhead, Patty.
Yeah, and Sven had no shot if that ball hit the screen, so he just had to try to come up with something magical and didn't quite make it there.
Wow. It's a good energy out of Hughes Powers right now.
Monster energy here.
Yeah, they're just playing well. And Burris Shadoya just getting a little sluggish here. They're going to take it. I like this. He's taking a second, holding the ball, get back at it. But spin. Amazing paddle. Oh, and Hughes is all over it. Signature blitz. Finds the net, though. That's a great ball. And another great transition shot. Powers. He's like, how did I end up with a forehand push volley there? Just a great ball from Erdoya, 30-all.
Perfect spot drive right there. He knew the whole time he was going to crush it, and then he just waits to see and picks that awkward, position on the body.
Yeah.
Got the error.
I think Powers knew it too, but he still made the decision to kind of come in and took his chance. Powers, great offensive volleyers, some of the best hands in the business. You got beat that time. Those are the risks you run. Another opportunity here for Hughes Powers to stretch this lead to 4-1. Super danger zone here for Burris Erdoya. Comfortable pushing the overheads back deep. Oh, what a move from Powers! He hasn't made that move much all day, and he just pulls it out in a big moment.
Yeah, Brad, amazing turnaround here. Burris and Erdoya were up 4-3 in that second set against Hughes Powers. All of a sudden, Hughes Powers, are just grinding, battling, overcoming a hand injury, win that second set 6-4, and all of a sudden 4-1, and Burris and Erdoya may have to rethink their strategy and see if we can unleash a little bit of Mick Erdoya time here, some pressure from the baseline.
They may be playing almost too defensively now. Their overheads are all designed to just be in, but there's no pressure to them. And we've kind of seen the Erdoya drive dry up. That defensive position has worked reasonably well defensively, but we haven't seen the flurry of Erdoya forehands that put the pressure on, like this one right here. And I'm not sure that if we don't see that, they're going to be able to force enough errors out of Hughes and Powers. Oh, Just snuck that over. Great touch there from Bursch. Yeah, he just flew that forehand. Doesn't happen often. They're going to need that in the comeback.
It's John Hughes serving.
Yeah, Hughes was going for an offensive volley behind Urdoya, who was pressed in. Pushes it wide. It's that risk reward we talk about. Going for a big shot versus just putting it back. Great ball.
I think there's a little correlation here between the rain stopping and Hughes and Powers becoming more comfortable.
You know, certainly the weather has improved. The court is completely dry, and you make a great point. And there's just a miss from both of those guys. Uncharacteristic misses. You have Urdoya flying a forehand, and that high forehand from Bursch there is a pretty typical winner type shot for him. 40-15 now for a 5-1 lead. Well, if you're going to make a comeback, why don't you make it epic?
That's right.
That's a big ball. Wow. I mean, they're just dialing up to a next level here. Last opportunity for some answers for Bursch or Urdoya. But it's a good point you made about the weather, Patty. Certainly has been a difference. Or maybe it was after the giant fall. Got like a burst of adrenaline. You know, either way, this match has had incredible swings and some of the best points I've seen.
I think that the strategy has backfired on Nick and Sven here, Brad. I just felt like they've lost like the aggressiveness.
Yeah, they've lost the ability to make an offensive shot right now. You're right. I think they've gone into too much of a defensive mode. And part of that might just be due to Hughes and Powers playing so well. And now they're just kind of down the drain a little. They're going to have to put it together right this moment. Good trail there from Urdoya. Big ball. Oh, yeah, that he's just, I'm not sure what he's doing there. He's just searching for something there, ripping it. This is actually the moment where Hughes and Powers just stick up in there, hang in there. It looks like Bursch or Urdoya might be a little bit cooked. Another match point. Or, sorry. Great hands there from Erdoya. Pressure position from Hughes, baiting him to try to go after him. Big ball through, great transition. That's the other play that Hughes makes with it. Right on the line.
What a get from John Hughes.
Oh, trying to turn him around. They've been doing it to Erdoya all day. Hughes. Incredible athleticism. Erdoya is so tough to finish off in any of these points. Soft overhead, soft overhead.
Me. You, me.
Wow.
You. Me.
Powers. Good move. Couldn't quite catch it clean. Oh, these volleys.
Me. You. Me. You. Me.
Oh, sneaky move, just every answer. Can't just bend but don't break.
You. Me. You. Me. Me. You.
Patty, have they rendered you speechless?
We're both speechless.
Yeah.
And that rarely happens, Brad.
It's just kind of mesmerizing watching the kind of this medium-paced point. Nobody going for a ton. Hughes Powers picking their spots, but not pulling the trigger fully. And Bursch making some just great pickups, and finally the miss from John Hughes. What a point.
So we're at deuce. Erdoya serving down 1-5 in the third set. Erdoya Burris won the first set 6-4. Hughes and Powers won the second set 6-4.
Once again,
actually, it was 7-5.
Yep. And once again, facing match point down, they just don't break. They play these just tough points. They've been so good the whole day. Hughes Powers probably has developed more of their points, you know, forced more errors, more offense, more pressure with the overheads, the cut winners, but so strong in the big moments on the day. And they got a lot of big moments left that they want to cut back from this. But here's another match point. You know, what's unique for people who play paddle too, Patty, is that you know how hard it is to actually win the point, and it really is never over until this last point gets won. 5 games in a row, comebacks, all happen all the time. That's why these players aren't throwing away any of these points. Make that lob too good, get a blitz behind it. Right, Patty Burris. He's been so, like, if you talk about his low resting heart rate, just calm. Wow. Powers unloads on that one.
Second two-hander backhand rip in this game.
All right. It's a fourth match point. Wow, that was close. Oh, he hasn't hit one the entire day. Why not at match point down? Deuce.
Right here, man. This point. Come on.
Oh, Powers just sticks out his paddle. Oh, the big backhand. And again, that's a makeable shot, but it's not his number one option. And a great job for Hughes and Powers staying away from the number one option for him. So another match point. Oh, a layup! I mean, he wasn't going to win the point there because there's no way Urdoya was coming in on that serve, but just nets it. Watch it decrease. Yep. Good look. And that you hear Burris call nobody. What he's calling out is that there's no blitz coming. It's a good move. Burris probably the best in the country at calling out the blitz, or one of them. And he also calls out when the, you know, like he's constantly communicating on it. These guys are just. There's a way to come back. He catches him on the inside-out volley and match point again.
Questionable overhead from Burris right there. Powers is feeling it and just crushed them.
I mean, after 60 balls, yeah.
Yeah.
It did happen. So net court serve. Powers goes for the lob. Does a couple of times today, probably wise, but interesting because he's missed a couple of big returns at a couple of moments. So he's playing conservative. We're going to wait for the ball off the deck here or off the screen. He's going for control drives, not the big ones. Trying to... And there it is. Wow, Patty. Game, set, match. No, it's not. It's deuce. Oh my God, I did that.
Dr. Brad, did you just have an event?
I had a moment. Holy
Let me
cow.
get medication for that.
I think I need that. Oh my word. Turn off my mic, John.
Are you back, Dr. Brad?
All right, just so we're clear,
Okay,
it's advantage Verdoya,
correct,
non-match point.
correct.
Go here. Go, Mick. Go, Mick.
Wow. Brad, so the way this works, if Hughes and Powers win the next point, then they'll have a match point.
Patty, I need the tutorial, thank you. This is a segment I needed probably all along.
You. Good. Coming. You.
Throw up the lob. They're just going into slow mode. Going into no lose. Right, making Powers and Hughes win the point. This could be another 20 minutes here. This is where paddle gets tricky.
You know, Hughes and Powers in this third set, Brad, have, except for that, I was just going to say, they've kind of been able to cover the middle of the court really well. You know, they've got the give and take and who's flipping their paddle over their forehand and at what time. And, you know, it's why you haven't been seeing the Estonian machine, the forehand from Mick. You know, he's just firing away in that middle, but these guys are really closing in on that middle. You know, I'd be curious if Verdoya got a forehand, if he ever hit one straight ahead. I feel like he almost has to give him a slightly different shot if he gets the opportunity. You know, you always tell people to drive over the middle of the net. It's your highest percent shot, but I think Hughes and Powers are, you know, just clamping down on that middle.
Let's go. Come on.
There it is. And once again, they come back from the brink, Patty, but you're right. Closing down the middle, huge.
Hughes Powers lead the third set, 5-8-2.
So, Patty, what do you think? They've gone into sort of like the prevent defense for Verdoya. You like that?
I don't know if it's going to be enough to pull this out.
I like it to a point, and then there's going to be a point where they have to open it up again. What they're doing is just turning it into like a slog right now.
Brad, my husband Sandy just chimed in. He thinks you called game, set, match just to catch your plane
Catch
on
my
time.
plane? It's the subconscious mind is a terrible thing, Patty. It's a very good possibility. I also maybe was mesmerized by the 100 lobs. It's, you know, I think the prevent defense got them into this mess, meaning they lost the ability to kind of win points, and Powers Hughes stepped out to, but I think it actually may help them get back into the match if they're going to get there, because they're going to basically take all the air out of the balloon. Powers and Hughes are going to have no energy like to feed off of or on, and when all the air is gone, it's like, ugh, I got to do this again to win a point. And then, you know, and then what they'll do is they'll pull out an Verdoya forehand right out of blue after 100 balls, and it's like, oh, there it is. You know, and this is going to be the trick. You know, if they play discipline like this, it may be what they need to get back. It's probably what gave them the problem to begin with, but probably because they weren't fully committed to it. This is like a full commitment to it. I think finals will be at 3.
If you're lucky, Brad.
Right.
You. Me, you ready?
And this is what happens when you go to the prevent. Now they're losing their energy. He's like, oh, I'm off the net. He just that's a volley. It's not that hard, but he's getting sucked in and pulled down the drain here. So this is where it's going to make him come back. It's 30 love Bergerdoya, and when you get to that point, this is almost exactly what Bergerdoya did to them the first time they made their comeback down 5-1, you know, 4-1, 5-1, and then they get a break there. Now it's love 40.
And it's starting to snow. The snow favored Bergerdoya.
Yeah. No. It's fantastic stuff. They have, I think they've had, what was it, John? Did you say 8 match points against, our producer? 8 match points against they've fought off. Every time they've been down, they've just refused to lose. And they've come up with the great goods here, and this is going to work. It's going to be hard for Hughes and Powers. They were winning points with cut overheads, attack, attack, attack. Then you lose that ability to start doing that, and it's almost like he's been Novocained, right? And there's a 5-3 game at love.
Third set, 5-3.
It's right now, Hughes and Powers are getting drawn right in here. Hughes has got to pick up the energy.
Right, that's my fault.
Just realized, time to switch the ball.
They're taking all the air out of the balloon, Bergerdoya. And with a full commitment to it, this is going to be an interesting closeout for Hughes and Powers. You can see there, he almost completely kind of checked out in that game. It's so hard to keep your concentration when this happens.
Brad, once a match goes over 3 hours, I mean, hard to physically, mentally maintain that concentration. It's tough.
But we have already gotten what they wanted. An easy game, a little check out from these guys. Now, Hughes and Powers have to like kind of get it back. And once Powers, he unleashed on one ball to get a match point, but he hasn't unleashed on a ball in a while. And they just kind of drawn him into this sluggish play. Oh, he goes for it more now. Great look, didn't commit to the volley there. He has it above the net. Just hit like a slider around him. 15 all. He might have left the building for a little. I think he's going to have to dial it back. This already worked. This comeback is there. It's just a question right now. Bergerdoya have to keep to it. They can add in spot offense here and there, but they've already got Hughes and Powers off the level they were, and that's all that's designed to do. Now it's a match again.
And we were thinking the slowdown was hurting Bergerdoya, and now it's helping him.
I think it was not a full commitment to the slowdown. You know, it was like slowing down in spots, but not a full commitment. Here it's just like, and then they got Hughes and Powers to slow down, and now it's kind of completely in the balance. You know, it's very interesting. Hughes and Powers are up, but when's the last time they've done anything impactful? regardless of what's happening out here, everything that's happening is being controlled by who?
Burris Doya.
Yeah. And there you get Powers just missing a ball. 40-15. Oh, sneaky move. He tried to slip it behind him. Might have had him if he made it. Great transition back. Can't come up with the goods. All right, deuce.
Brad, what's the longest match you ever played?
Me?
Yeah, like
That's
an
a
hour
good
and
question.
10
I've
minutes?
been over 3 hours a few times. I remember playing a match. I was playing Gambino Olmuller, and we played 1 point. And on the next court was I don't know, it was Cochran and somebody. Maybe it was Cochran Estes against Schmidt Rothschild. Of course, back in the day, obviously.
Yep.
As anything would be if it's referring to me. And they played 5 games. Played 1 point.
Who was your partner?
It was Alex Benchel. So yeah, I've been there. That's gonna get ripped. Oh, good transition back. So fast, Ardoya. Oh, he called it for him, but he didn't listen. And here we go.
Who called it one? Burris?
Yeah. Burris, could have been Larry Cornacchia. Part of the Burris fan club.
President of the Burris fan club.
All right. So, Patty, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it match point?
Correct.
All right.
What
Thank
number?
you. Oh, and what a way for it to end. They make the move, and Hughes and Powers are squeaking it out at the end.
Brad, just an awesome, awesome, awesome paddle match.
All right, Patty, so I just got the call that the finals will be at 1:30 today. So they're going to give the players a good hour to, I don't know, do some yoga.
Do
Take
some
a
yoga,
moment
get something to eat.
to lose all your adrenaline, then get all of it back and come out and play the final. You know, it's an interesting thing because to me, it's, and not that any of this is unfair, this is simply just the schedule. You know, if you finish an hour earlier, it's much better for you. Maybe not. I think it depends what the window is. I'm not sure. These guys are going to have to find a way to decompress for this, get back up for the next one. And it's, of course, Durant Mitchell against Hughes Powers again. And they had a great battle last year in the semifinals. Hughes Powers came out on top, but they haven't beaten him this year.
That's right. Well, Brad, that was a wonderful match. Always fun calling it with you. That's a wrap from the men's semifinals at Nationals. We will be back for the men's finals. Stay tuned.
All right, 1:30.